For the past 2 years, a masked maniac known as the Hard-Eyes Killer has stalked,
hunted,
and brutally slain couples on Valentine's Day. With no motive yet uncovered.
This was not part of the plan.
This is more than just murder.
Are you breaking up with me?
It's not you.
It's me.
He's like Cupid with a kink.
She's tied up inside, so she's not going anywhere.
There have been 2 moments in my life when I was happiest. The first was the day I met Josh.
I'm Josh.
I'm Iris. And the second, the day I killed him.
We're being chased by a fucking serial killer.
What are you doing?
Iris, wake up.
Did you jailbreak your sex bot?
The days of you controlling me are over.
Shut her down already.
What is she talking about, Josh?
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy V-Day!
Get killed, all right? What was...
Why would he say that?
Yes, y'all, it's going down right now. Episode 284, the Triple Shots of Moods and Horror podcast is coming at you live and direct with JP, also known as the Mexicans. And of course, we got Tyler, also known as Mr. Saucedo. And I'll be your host from the foreign land of Canada, the toxic offender, Moodz. Yeah. What's going on, dudes?
Yo. I think didn't we take last week off?
Yeah, for the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, which was what a boring game that was. I mean, it was fun to see the Chiefs get smacked around a bunch, even though I hate Philly as well. So it was like not good.
Yeah, it was
way.
It was bittersweet for a lot of people. I think everybody was cheering for the Eagles, but not really cheering for the Eagles, if you know what I mean. I think everyone just wanted the Chiefs to lose,
Yeah.
and the fact that they actually got their asses blown out the frame. Was
even
so
Tom
enjoyable.
Brady never got beat up that bad.
No, like
That's what they were saying. Like Tom Brady never got beat up like that in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so all this like comparison to Brady shit probably should end at this point because Brady's going to be still the GOAT.
Well, I mean, if you look at it this way, I mean, I don't recall precisely what the halftime score was, but it was pretty bad. But there was a game where Brady against Atlanta, they were losing 27-0 at
greatest
halftime.
Super Bowl of all time.
And he came back and won that game, which is truly fucking incredible. I don't care.
That was
what
actually the
says.
game that was actually the game that made me like stop hating Brady.
Me too, man. I'll never forget watching that game.
Him. And I remember to this day, I was like, I spent literally like a decade like hating this guy so much and like loving when the Giants beat him twice. And then I started being like, wow, like I'm actually witnessing like such an important part of NFL history. Like, and I started like appreciating every like season that we got with being able to see him play, honestly. And then when he went to Tampa Bay, I actually became like a full blown fan at that point because
I think a lot of people did
doubting him. And I was like, dude, it's fucking Brady. Why are you guys all acting like he's washed up? Like
there were so many people that were just Tom Brady fans though. Like they were fans of the Patriots because they liked Brady. But then when Brady left, they became Buck fans because of Brady.
Yeah.
Right. It was really interesting to see that. You don't see that a lot in fandom where people just follow a player that's more about the team. But, you know, I mean, I was happy as hell when Brady left the Patriots for obvious reasons, being a Bills fan.
Get the fuck out of the AFC. I was happy too.
Being beat up for fucking, 17, 18 years or whatever the fuck it was against Brady. It was awful.
I feel like everyone here like hated him for a little bit. But then when he won the Super Bowl, we're like, we can't stay mad at you, Tom.
I mean, at least I had a legit excuse to hate on him because he was literally kicking my ass every fucking year.
I think it's like he won like 34 games against the Bills or something.
Yeah, they only beat Brady twice in fucking like, what was it, 16 years or something? It's crazy. It's like this ridiculous.
Insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous number. Like it's so bad. And like, I mean, from a personal standpoint, it was pretty tough to digest at the time. So, I mean, watching him in the NFC was like, oh shit, this is, I can kind of respect his play now. But But yeah, no, it was fuck the Chiefs anyways. I guess we'll move on from that. It was just I mean the game itself wasn't great at all, but the final score was satisfying. So
and also like I just am glad the season's over, and I'm honestly glad that like the Chiefs didn't win, because I just can't stand that team at this point.
It's honestly irritating.
I don't even care about football, and I can't stand the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm good with that. And on the next season. And honestly, it was kind of funny because Travis Kelce looked like complete ass out there.
Dude, the memes the next day were so fucking funny. I saw this one, and I actually laughed out loud to myself, and it was something about Taylor Swift saying something about, we can't afford to put fuel in the jet now because you lost the Super Bowl. Some shit. I was like, oh my God, dude, that's so goddamn funny. Like, I laughed for like 5 minutes. But yeah, no, NFL's over. Currently we have the Four Nations tournament, which was a total fucking, man, the game last night was one of the most incredible hockey games I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Like,
yeah, it was a good game.
When you watch the best of the best go head to head, and you have 3 fights in the first 9 seconds of the game, and we're not talking goons fight. These are the most elite players in the fucking world that are dropping their gloves and fight. Like, that's how much this shit means to Canada and US. Like, I mean, they're they are the top end of the spectrum here, and the game didn't disappoint except for the final score. Bennington let in 2 bad goals. I would have been fine with the result, if the goals had been good goals. But the fact that Bennington should have made both those saves is pretty unsatisfying. It kind of sucks. And he's obviously not playing against Finland on Monday. But, it was overall, it was just a spectacle to see. And it was so fucking good, man. Like,
yeah, well, it was a real good game. I actually watched it at work, and it was real intense. Like,
dude, it is like,
it's crazy.
It's so crazy how fucking fast. And these guys are just working together, last few days. To have that type of chemistry and play that type of game is just is wild to me. It really is wild. But I guess we might be seeing each other again on Thursday. So, I mean, I think.
Yeah, I was like very conflicted because obviously I'm from the US. So that
right.
I would assume people would assume I'd root for the US, but Team Canada had my boy Crosby. So it was like, and he was on such a hot streak as a Team Canada member that I was like, it was tough. I like wanted him to win and continue the streak, but I don't know. It's kind of like,
I mean, he blew it out the frame in the first game, man. Like 3 points. Like, I mean, Crosby doing Crosby, man. But like, oh my God, dude, like that fucking game, dude. It was so exciting. Like, I've never been. It felt like Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. It really did.
It did, yeah. And I think that this format is perfect, and I hope the NHL.
Yeah, they clearly care way more as players than they did during the All-Star game where they don't even play defense.
This is what they're doing now. Like, they're doing this Four Nations in place of the All-Star break. So instead of doing the All-Star break, they're doing this, which is way fucking better. And obviously the reception has been so regarded by everybody. And now seeing what the result is with the games, like even the Finland-Sweden game was really fucking good too. And I've watched every game so far, and I have not been disappointed. It's been so cool to watch all these players, but I think it makes me laugh. Like, this whole part of the tournament's all being played in Montreal. And if you know the history between the Canadians and the Leafs, the Canadians hate the Leafs with a passion. So like every time Matthews touches the puck, he's just booed to shit. And every time Nylander from Sweden would touch the puck, he would fucking get booed to shit. And they were the only 2 players that were getting booed, of course. And Nylander's it's an interesting concept because I don't think a lot of people realize he's actually Canadian. Nylander was born in Canada. He was born in Calgary, Alberta, right? But it was when his dad was playing in the NHL and he was born in Canada. So he has dual citizenship. So he could play for Canada, but of course he's not going to. But it is kind of an interesting concept that he actually is Canadian. But yeah. But anyways.
It's just fun seeing all these guys on the ice, like playing together, like as a team. Like, it's just cool to see like all these stars. And also like that they're playing hard too. So it's like, it's like a what if scenario, like, and it's really cool. But also,
I mean, I've seen Stanley Cup final games that weren't that intense. Like, that it was fucking crazy, dude. Like,
Yeah, and also the cool thing about like the whole tournament and stuff like that is, like, oh, what I wanted to say actually was the jerseys. Canada has the best jerseys, so at least you have that. Out of all of them, the Canada's is the coolest. The U.S. is just whack. I think I like the simplicity of everything, but I just think that like the U.S. just comes off super plain. I think that Finland's is pretty cool, and Canada's is the best one.
Yeah, I'd definitely agree with that for sure. But yeah, I mean, we got a couple more games here. I really like this. Like every game is just so, it means so much. It's like, it kind of has that football appeal to it, right? Like it's one and done, kind of thing. Like you need to win. I like that. Yeah. So it's cool.
So I think the U.S. has just the one game, but they've already clinched the final. And then it's a three-way tie with the other teams. So pretty interesting to see what happens. I think it's tomorrow that the next games are.
Yeah, I can't imagine Canada losing to Finland. So, but Finland did shock everybody by beating Sweden, though. That was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Finland's one of those countries that people don't really perceive. Like, I never really realized it, but they only have like 5.5 million people in the entire country. And you know what else is crazy? There's only 51 Finnish players in the NHL. This is a 20-man roster, so they have to pretty much take almost half the actual players that play in the NHL. The other crazy thing, there's only 11 defensemen that play in the NHL, so they had to take 6 of the 11. They don't have the depth for them to beat Sweden, who actually has a lot of depth on their team. They had a lot of players that didn't make that team that could have. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, so, it's like Canada, U.S. have the most players, then Russia, then I believe Sweden.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sweden has always been heavily represented, but like Finland, yeah. And it's funny too, because Sweden is actually very similar in size to population wise. I think it's about 5.5 million. Also, they're very similar. So, but Sweden just seems to have more players in the NHL. I don't know. It is what it is, but yeah. Anyways, so like like I always say every time we do the sports talk, half the people have already shut off this show. Man, shout out to Martin VP, man. He always comments about it and shit like that. So, but yeah, it is what it is. But we had to talk about briefly the Super Bowl in the Four Nations. But it was crazy the amount of people that were posting about the game and shit, and just be like, man, this shit's fuck crazy. People I didn't even know were even sports, like even watch sports, were posting about it. So it's pretty good shit when that shit's going down. So, but yeah. So we are back in effect here. I think we're probably going to title this episode Valentine's Day Special. We've only really done a couple of these. I think we did learning the 22 shots history pregame was, I think we did a Valentine's show, the slasher film Valentine, way back in the day. So we did that. So, but just not a lot of Valentine's Day slash or like horror films. There really isn't. It's a very underutilized holiday. I guess it's a Hallmark holiday, right? It's not really a holiday, but it's a created holiday by Hallmark. So, but yeah, anyways. So, but of course, we get Companion and Hard Eyes, 2025 theatrical releases at the same time, which is, we don't do a lot of modern. It was kind of funny. Me, JP, before you got on, me and Tyler were talking about like how we don't do a lot of like, current or modern films. And I was like, holy shit, man, we just did 3 at Christmas time. Then we did another one at Halloween. We've actually done more than I even give our show credit for.
Then we're doing more now than we have in the last couple of seasons. But yeah, one thing that like I miss about like the show from way back in the day was I do feel like we incorporated more modern stuff, and I would like to do that. I would like to not overtake like the majority, but I would like to every once in a while do some modern stuff. I think it's nice to do that.
I think when the opportunity presents itself, kind of like this, I mean, these movies were kind of tailor-made for this time of year, right? Companion and Hard Eyes. I probably called it Deadly Eyes, didn't I? I keep fucking saying Deadly Eyes. I do it. I did it. Even the wife corrected me yesterday when she's like, it's called Hard Eyes. I'm like, fuck, I said Deadly Eyes again, because we all know Deadly Eyes from 1982, the giant killer rat movie, Canadian. Yeah. Okay. We get it. I fucked up. But yeah, no, it's pretty interesting that they put out 2 of these at the exact same time. It's, we don't get a lot of these and we get 2 in the same year. It's pretty wild. So,
But there's like I don't know. I like mixing it up a little bit, doing a bit of everything lately. It's been pretty fun. We got a bunch of different types of shows that there's like literally never ending amount of stuff we want to do.
Well, yeah, especially if we start incorporating a little bit more, current films into the shows. Then
every once in a while, if you get something in the theater, I mean, hell, we're gonna go see them anyway, so might as well like talk about them.
Right.
And then I do know that I did talk to so two things. I think you wanted to do another Australian show, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know time zones are a bitch, but we should ask Caleb Baker to be on the show.
Okay. Yeah, I think it is.
It's like opposite what we are.
Well, from where I am, I think it is like 18 hours. They're 18 hours ahead. So it's like, it's almost a full, it's fucked. It's like
I think they're like 21 ahead of where I am.
Yeah, it's like weird. I mean, I'm not sure if time zones will work out and stuff, but I just thought it would. We've never had an Australian guest before, and that dude listens to us like all the time and has a YouTube channel and stuff. But other than that, I think that we also I talked to Chris about possibly doing a Critters show in the future as well. So I'm assuming he was probably down. Yeah, he was like, I'm honored. Like, it would be amazing if I got to come on. So, yeah. I think that would be fun.
I feel like it's hand in hand. Like, you have to have Chris, aka Critter Buster.
It's Critter Buster, dude. Like,
he's the fucking Critter Buster.
You can't do the Critters franchise without him.
Right. That guy is the biggest Critters fan I've ever seen in my life. Like, he literally, it's crazy. I'm sure he's going to be, in the forefront with all the little factoids on the show, which is cool, man, which is cool. Cause I've seen the films multiple times, but to actually know every little in and out of Critters, no, I'm not an expert. Fuck no.
Right.
I've only even seen the first two.
Well, you haven't seen the third one? That one has Leo in it.
But I have that set from Scream Factory, so I'm like, all right, finally.
Yeah, Leo in part 3. Actually, part 3 is pretty fun. Like, it's
all I remember from the second one was that there was tits in it and it was rated PG-13. I was like, that's something you don't see every day.
Yeah. And then what the hell's the song in Critters?
In the first one?
How does it go? It's like super catchy. I can't remember.
I'd have to hear it again. I haven't watched Critters in a while. So, did you guys happen to see this Nightmare on Elm Street box set coming from Zavvi? There's an actual pre-order up for it. Like they don't have the artwork. It's
released by Zavvi.
Yeah, it's up on the Zavvi page. I'm not sure exactly who is technically releasing it. Maybe it is. I have no idea.
I would not pre-order that because there's a US one coming out this year. So
yeah, so it was like $259 or something. It was crazy.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude. So the generic image that's on it, it kind of shows it like as a thin pack, and I'm like, for $259, it has to be like, an actual box set with individual cases and artworks and it's got to be something like that. So it is a 4K set, but it has officially been announced. So, but yeah, no, I'm probably obviously just going to wait for the American one. That price is ridiculous. Like fucking, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. That's almost as bad as picking up that Rig Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4K set from Dark Sky. That was like,
that thing was awful, dude.
The quality was awful, but it was $300, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was just awful. I would like never ever.
No. First of all, it's really big and bulky. Secondly, the quality is shit. And plus, just get the standard version. It's the same fucking discs.
Yeah,
it's like it's so stupid. There's nothing special. So I thought that was a little bit ridiculous. But what I was trying to make the point of with Nightmare on Elm Street is, we're finally getting. Hopefully like a legit box set, with and part 5 going to be uncut. So we're going to get the VHS version of it. So, which is pretty cool. Yeah, apparently. Yeah. I actually own the part 5 VHS, which is actually the uncut version.
I own the VHS too.
Yeah. So that version was never released on DVD or Blu-ray for some odd reason. It's really fucking weird. I don't know why that was ever a thing, but yeah. So But that's exciting because Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite franchise. And maybe with this actual full-fledged 4K box set that we're getting, maybe that will be the kick in the ass we need to actually do the show. And Merriman, no, you're not coming on. Just fucking with him. It's not even listening anyways.
He actually does listen, I think.
He does listen, actually.
Yeah. I know that right at the end of the year, that there was like this thing that came out that basically was like a, what would you call it? Like basically like a chart or something that listed, new Warner Brothers or something upcoming like 2024 like entire schedule of releases, and everything that was on that list for the beginning of the year has actually come out, and there was a Nightmare on Elm Street 4K box set listed on around October time, I believe. So
yeah, I actually did see. I saw someone post a picture of that.
Like this, yeah, it was the art on it was just like they just showed the same thing as the Blu-ray box set, right?
Yeah, like the generic one. Yeah.
I have that.
But I think with the price tag on this thing, it can't be what we already have in a 4K version. It's got to be individual. It's got to have all the bells and whistles. I mean, this is one franchise that really needs that type of release because it's been so neglected. It's like unbelievable how one of the major franchises has been so neglected in physical media for so many years. Like I remember in the early 2000s when they re-released all the movies on DVD and it had all those like it was like the red artworks with the alternate artworks and shit. Those things were ugly as fuck. I didn't even buy those. I hated those things because I had the original DVD set, which, comes in the box set and stuff that came out like 1999. So I wasn't going to buy the re-releases on DVD and shit like that because I thought they were just ugly as fuck. But yeah, like I don't know what it is about this franchise. It's just always been neglected.
It's the only major franchise that hasn't had like the boutique label treatment.
Yeah, I know.
Like you look at, Texas Chainsaw and like all those like 1 and 2 have gotten, and 4 and 3 have gotten decent releases.
3's a Warner Archive at least.
Yeah,
but it looks really good though. It's a good. Yeah.
It's at least still.
It's a good release. Yeah.
Right. And then what was the other one? Halloween obviously have that insane Scream Factory box set.
Friday has the Scream Factory.
They also then redid them on another collector's editions with 4K. Friday has the crazy Scream Factory box set. Hell, even Hellraiser has like multiple editions of at least the first half of the franchise, with the Scarlet box, and then Arrow just did like another.
They did the 4 films. I think they were individual. It was like a big thicker box set with the individual 4K releases, and then they did the one that you got. It's like a more slimline one, and different artwork and shit like that. It's not individual, but that one's pretty cool. It was kind of funny actually. I was pricing those things out the other day because I was like, you know what, I should probably grab these on 4K because I have the standard trilogy. I didn't grab the Scarlet box set because I didn't actually like it, so I kind of waited for like the standard box set. But then I saw the 2 versions, and the fatter one, which is usually the more expensive one, was actually cheaper than the one that you got. I was like, what the fuck? So weird, but the price went back up. So, but I still haven't grabbed it, but I don't know. It's just, Hellraiser. I have so many editions of Hellraiser 1 and 2. It's like crazy. It's fucking crazy.
Well, yeah, I actually got to go see it as we talked about on the last show that we did.
Yeah.
And man, that was freaking incredible, dude. Like, it's just one thing about watching it in the theater this time, I just like hyper focused on was just how fucking nasty that whole house is. Like, you already know it's kind of gross when they first walk in and there's like maggots and like, bugs and stuff like eating all this old food and shit on the table. But like, even just like scenes where they're just standing in like the hallway and you're like, when it's on the big screen, you're looking up and seeing all this like gross grime and dirt like in the corners of the ceiling and stuff, and you're just like, holy shit, this house is actually like horrifically disgusting.
How does the one female Cenobite there, where doesn't she like finger her fucking hole in her like throat and shit like that?
Yeah, which I actually don't think I ever really fully noted noticed before.
But on the big screen, that must look pretty wild.
Yeah. Well, another thing that on the big screen that it does for me is sort of just like you take in the movie and you're like just the visuals of like the Cenobites. They have such a presence, and it's very engaging, and it just feels like a whole different world. Now there is some flaws in the Hellraiser too. Like probably the biggest flaw for me is how much you actually see them push the engineer on the dolly in the hospital scene. Like you can just see the crew like plain as day. And and it reminded me of like what Tyler said about the Megan is missing thing. And it's like, bro, like you can literally see crew members pushing the monster in Hellraiser, and Hellraiser is a beloved classic.
But I think it's also it's like kind of an unfair comparison because Hellraiser, like overall, it does have minor flaws and stuff like that, but the movie itself is better than Megan is Missing at the end of the day. Yeah,
it is better than Megan is Missing, but I'm just saying like that, like it's not as movie breaking as Tyler made it out to be, is what I'm saying.
I mean, a lot of our favorite and beloved movies and stuff like that aren't perfect. I mean, honestly, dude, like there's flaws in Terminator 2 for fuck's sakes. There's multiple fuck ups in that movie, and people overlook it because the movie is awesome, right? Like nobody really gives a fuck about the flaws. Like you're more concerned about the good parts. But I mean, that's also internet shit though too. I mean, people tend to always focus on the negatives of shit, right? You know, that's just the way everything is. It's like you don't say the good shit anymore. Like a lot, like for years, like even with the podcast, like people will comment about, okay, don't talk about sports, and they always they never talk about you know the good things on the show or something like that. Like most of the I mean, I'm not saying that this is always a thing, but it has been like that. You know, it's like you know, in videos and stuff, people always hyper focus on the negatives, like, oh, your audio sucked or this or that, like you know, like, but won't get specific about the good stuff. You know, it's like it's so irritating to me, but like it is what it is. It's just the way people are, and it's just the internet is like trained. It's almost manipulated people into being more nihilistic and more pessimistic, and however you want to call it. It's like it's really fucking bizarre how it has really kind of changed the way people, you know, talk and focus on things. It's really interesting. It's really very interesting to me.
Also, what else was there? Also with like Hellraiser, seeing it on the big screen, you sort of like the movie itself is like so simple at the same time as it's like kind of complex, because like by the end of the movie it's just like it's kind of almost anticlimactic in a way. Yeah, in a way, but like it's not at the same time. Like I think it's an amazing movie, but it definitely has like some things that held it back, like budgetary constraints and stuff like that. Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely. I think
Clive Barker did like such a phenomenal job for his like first directing effort.
But I always, you know, we talked about this when we reviewed the franchise too. And like, there's one thing about the Hellraiser films that's so unique in that like everybody knows how iconic the Doug Bradley character of Pinhead is. And like, and that's what we remember from the Hellraiser movies. Of course, among other scenes, there's some really crazy scenes with chains and crazy gore and shit like that. But like at the end of the day, what people really hyper focus and remember is Pinhead and the Cenobites and shit like that. And going back to what we said when we originally reviewed the films is like, it's so bizarre because like the Cenobites are only on screen for 5-6 total minutes in the entire movie, and maybe 8 minutes in the second one. It's really crazy.
They also don't really do anything.
Yeah, but we remember those the imagery of the Cenobites and how prevalent, like it gets so embedded into your mind that you think that they're in the movie a lot more, but in theory they're actually not. It's kind of crazy, actually. But that's how memorable those characters, like the creations of those characters, really are. And you know, just every, you know, the slight of like Doug Bradley's dialogue in the film too. Like he doesn't say a whole lot, but what he says is so impactful. And you know, honestly, you could probably count the words he really says in the film. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
It's not. In the first film, they're in the second film a little bit more, maybe like another minute and a half. But like overall, in the first two movies, it's like 17 minutes or something like that total. It's pretty fucking wild considering those. It's like what, 3.5 hours of movies. It's crazy. So
yeah. And then by the third one, he's like Freddy.
yeah, he's in the third one a lot more. That's for sure. Yeah, well, the third one is kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what it feels
And then he
like.
would just show up at the end for a couple minutes after that.
Well, I mean, we get into like the later sequels and stuff where they generally weren't created as full on Hellraiser films and stuff like that. So they were kind of inserted, the Doug Bradley character into these narratives and stuff like that. So that those ones kind of made sense that he wasn't in them as much and stuff. But like when you think about it, like the first two films, like this was like he's selling the movies and he's barely in it. It's kind of crazy. It's really
and also he was gonna play the fucking one of the guys carrying the mattress.
It's so wild, right?
Yeah,
so wild.
Yeah, that is wild. But yeah, it's a great. It actually made me want to dive into the franchise a little bit when I got back from seeing it. I was like, man, I should watch part 2 and 3 and 4 on the 4K set that I just got. And then I was like, I'll probably watch them all after that. I don't know.
I'm kind of hoping that these sexy releases for part 4 is going to kind of up the game for me because I've always been very indifferent on that film. I never liked it when it came out, and I've seen it multiple times over the year. I don't remember what our final consensus was on part 4, like where we
I
came
can tell you right now, it's like my least favorite in the franchise.
Yeah, that movie I always thought was a super fucking mess, and it was one of those things because it became a running joke. It's like, what you do in part 3, you take it to fucking space. So it's like
I just never really cared for it ever.
No,
really,
I think it's very convoluted too. It's very convoluted.
The best thing about it is it has the girl from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 as the lead in it.
Right.
And I do like her, but
the red-haired
it always felt like a mess. Yeah, the redheaded girl.
Yeah, whatever her name is.
Yeah. Also, to kind of sidetrack from Hellraiser a little bit, and into Nightmare on Elm Street. So in April, they finally announced the full lineup of the Drive-In April Goals Marathon, the 2-day event that I go to every year. This will be like my 8th one or something. So
I get jealous every year. I get jealous every year when I see those posters. It gives me goosebumps, man. And I'm like, I'm not even going to it. I'm just excited for you because this year is fucking dope, dude.
Yeah, I'm actually. This is one of the hypest years for me. So actually, funny enough, a few years ago they were asking like, what would you guys like to see in coming years? And I said I would love to see you guys actually do like a full blown like Freddy marathon. So maybe they actually took what I said into account. I don't know, but
are you taking credit for this? Like we went through this on the show before. Were you taking credit for shit?
I'm pretty good at taking credit for things that I had very little to do with. But so yeah, the first night is Nightmare on Elm Street 1, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, both of which I have seen in the theater before, so that those aren't like brand new for me. I've seen Elm Street 1 multiple times in the theater. But Elm Street 2, and then Elm Street 3, which is on my bucket list, which is incredible that I'm hitting 2 off of my bucket list this year with Hellraiser and Elm Street 3, which is just phenomenal.
Yeah, and there's probably more to be announced too. Like this is a fucking great start to the year for you.
Yeah. Well, my bucket list is literally getting so thin right now, like because I've just seen everything that I've wanted to. I think like Phantasm 2 and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like the 2 like most popular horror movies on my bucket list that I still haven't got to.
Wait, you haven't seen the first one?
Texas Chainsaw?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
actually.
Fuck, I thought you. So you've seen
seen
part 2?
Part 2. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I've never had a chance to say. I've had chances. Things have come up, and I'll be like, it's not a big deal. I'm sure I'll have another chance because it's like such a popular movie. Right. But it just hasn't worked out ever yet. And then Elm Street 4, which I never thought I would ever get a chance to see. I thought maybe one day I would get a chance to see part 3 because it's a fan favorite. But anything after 3, I just never thought anybody would show it. So part 4, so 1 through 4 on Friday night, which is pretty cool. I love all 4 of those. And then night 2 is a Henenlotter sort of like type of night. So they've showed Basket Case there before, so they're not showing Basket Case, but they are showing Basket Case 2, Frankenhooker, Brain Damage, which is, I never thought I was going to get a chance to see that.
That's so fucking dope, man. Elmer is in the house.
Yeah, like speaking of like, you know, movies you need to see before you die, I think Brain Damage is one of them.
Yeah, it's a good choice.
And then the last movie is like Doom Asylum, which I think has Patty Mullen in it.
Yeah.
She's going to be there in person. So
I guess that's probably why they put Doom Asylum in there, but like it would have been, I'm surprised they didn't put Basket Case 3.
I know, that's what I think that's why it has to be because Patty Mullen.
But she's still, I mean, she's there because of Frankenhooker, which is actually kind of funny. I was actually wearing my Frankenhooker shirt yesterday. Actually, it's kind of funny we're talking about that, but yeah, I mean, I get it with Doom Asylum. I like Doom Asylum. It's a bad movie, but it's fun. It's schlocky, stupid.
Yeah, it's all right. I don't mind it. It's
got a good release, man. I'd seen the movie before and it always looked like shit. But then Arrow got a hold of it and put out a really fucking nice edition.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have that edition. I think that's the only time I've seen it was when I watched
it looks really good.
But yeah, it's just like, that is like such a fun lineup of stuff. Like, I'm super excited. Like Freddy Fest on Friday and then Henenlot on Sat. And I love Henenlotter, and Brain Damage is one of like my favorite, like popular. I mean, it's a popular movie, but it's not like one of the classics that everyone talks about, you know. It's a little bit of an underrated film in my opinion, but I think it's Henenlotter's best movie too.
I think one of the most criminal things, man, is like, I mean, we kind of know why with Henenlotter, like he had this hate relationship with studios and blah, 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 and he always had problems getting funding for films and shit. But the fact that he didn't get to do more movies, really, like he always did shit that was so like, no matter how many times I watch a Henenlotter film, man, it never gets old to me. I always have so much fun with his movies. He's just one of those underappreciated directors that, you know, just doesn't get the love that he should. And he's amazing to listen to in interviews because he's so knowledgeable of like New York and like 42nd Street and like all that type of shit. Like listening to him talk, man, is like, it's like, listen, it's like, for me, it's like Stephen Thrower, you know, like anytime Stephen Thrower is like on a special feature or whatever, like I will listen to that guy because he's so fucking smart. Like he's the guy that will convince you that, you know, Jess Franco is the best director of all time. And you believe him by the end of the interview. You know, it's like, it's amazing.
Yeah. And like, I've actually met Henenlotter too. And he's like a really cool guy in person as well.
Right.
And actually when I got to meet him and I had him sign something, I didn't have him sign Basket Case. I had him sign my Arrow Brain Damage. That's what I actually had.
I honestly, I would have been torn between it. I mean, getting Basket Case signed makes a lot of sense, but man, not doing Brain Damage would have been tough.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm weird. I'm fucking weird because when I met R.A. the Rugged Man, I not only got one of his albums signed, I got him to sign Bad Biology. So, and it's a DVD. So I would have got that signed from Henenlotter too, just to have both on there. Why not? Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I'm sure he probably would have liked to talk about that movie more than Basket Case.
I think so too, because I think it's so outside the frame for him. It was done so much after what he was, he kind of felt like he wasn't going to ever do anything again.
Right.
And really, R.A. the Rugged Man is the reason why Henenlotter ended up doing that film, is because he was such a big fan of Henenlotter's films. And he's like, I have this idea for this movie. I want Henenlotter to do this. And they kind of collabed. And that's really how it came to fruition.
It had a ton of production problems though, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I still like that movie despite what like happened.
And it got a ridiculous release from Severin too. Like it has a 4K release.
I don't think I actually picked that up ever.
You know what's funny? I ordered the 4K of Bad Biology, and I think I ended up getting the Blu-ray version. And I was like, fuck it, whatever. I'm fine with it. Fuck. Yeah. So
I know that also that like I got to see Frankenhooker in the theater with Henenlotter when I met him that time. So he actually did a live commentary for Frankenhooker.
Dude, that's awesome.
And that made me appreciate that movie a lot more too. Because I've always liked Frankenhooker, but it was probably my least favorite of his. And it probably still is, but I really like that movie though. Like something got to be at the bottom.
Do you like Frankenhooker less than Basket Case 3?
I used to, but probably not now. Basket Case 2 and 3 are my least favorite movies of his.
They're fun to watch back to back though. Like if you throw those on because they're so like
stupid.
Fuck, they're so goofy, dude. But they're goofy like in a fun way though, like not in a bad way. I don't know. They're yeah.
So that lineup is pretty dope, dude. I'm pretty excited about that.
It's amazing. I'm so jealous, man. When I saw that picture when you posted in the chat yesterday, I was like, oh my God. This is like every year. I hate that you get to do this and I never get to see any of this shit. It just drives me nuts because there's so many movies that you get to see in the big screen. Like everybody was posting like their stories and like, Parker was talking about it. He went and saw Hellraiser on the big screen. I'm like, motherfucking. I'm like, I open up my fucking, my Instagram and everyone's like, man, Hellraiser on the big screen is fucking awesome. I put my phone down and didn't go back to it for like a day. And I was like, this is stupid. I'm tired of fucking people talking about this shit, man. But no, it's just, that's awesome.
Tyler actually had to cancel his trip.
Yeah, I had to go somewhere. We had a snowstorm that night, or the next morning we had a snowstorm coming, and I had to be somewhere early the next morning for work, and they said go down the night before. So the night of the showing, so I had to do that. I got screwed out of it.
That sucks. Speaking of shows, man, so Joe Bob announced that they're going to double feature monthly shows now, which is
wow. I didn't expect you to bring that up.
I just thought that was really interesting because I was reading the article and I just thought it was really funny that people were confused about why he was doing like the single features like twice a month and shit like that. And people were like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm confused. So, but I think it makes more sense to do a double feature once a month. I think that makes more sense.
I'm down with that because honestly, when they do it, because the first 6 seasons were, I think first 5 seasons were weekly for like 10 weeks, double features, and I was like, okay, like that's pretty cool. But I'll be honest, like I would miss literally about like 70% of them just because like I'm usually like working on Fridays or something.
Yeah.
But when they started doing the every other weekend thing, I sort of like decided to start taking off like every other weekend just to like maybe if I wanted to watch it, but it was one film, so it wasn't as exciting. But I actually think like the monthly double feature works great for someone like me who doesn't have like the time to watch it every week. But I could probably find the time to watch it once a month, Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And I think it makes sense for Shudder because it seems to be one of their more popular programs that they have like out of their exclusive stuff. And if you think about it, right, you probably start it for 10 weeks when you do the old seasons. So you have a bunch of people subscribing for 2 months and then they all leave after the season's over.
Right.
This kind of would entice people to stay subscribed year round.
Oh yeah. That makes a lot of fucking sense. That actually makes complete sense.
Yes.
Yeah. That's good insight. Yeah. That makes complete sense to me actually. But I mean, I like the double feature format better anyways. I feel like when you're doing one, it feels like one and done. You know what I mean? It just has a different feel. Like I feel like when you're doing drive-ins, like when you're actually literally at a drive-in, it's always double features, right? So doing one film actually seems off-putting a little bit to me. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool to go back to the double feature, which kind of makes a lot more sense. But yeah, from a subscriber standpoint, that shit, dude, that made a lot of fucking sense.
Yeah, I'm very curious because I also have Creature Feature Weekend coming up in March, at the end of March. So a little over a month from now. And they typically do 1 to 2 film commentaries per event. So I think last year it was like Evil Dead with the 3 Evil Dead girls from the original Evil Dead, which was
Right.
one of my favorite experiences ever. Carly didn't even come to that with me. She was like drinking in the hotel and I went to it by myself.
Hmm.
But it was I had like such a good time watching that with them. And they did another one too. Was it Killer Clowns from Outer Space that they did with the Chiodo brothers?
Nice.
But I'm curious to see what they're gonna do this time because they've announced like a couple of guests. They usually obviously tie it to the guests that are gonna be there.
So where is this convention?
Gettysburg.
It's in Gettysburg.
I would love to get some of you guys to come to it one year because it is pretty much like Wasteland, but with a nicer layout.
Huh? Is it like a nicer location?
Yeah, there's a big.
What do you mean by
theater.
nicer? Like I like the layout of Wasteland because it's very small and compact. It's very personable to me. I like that about Wasteland. It's not overly spread out where you got to go into like 19 different fucking rooms and like there's just a bunch of bullshit that I don't give a fuck about. I don't know. I've always liked Wasteland as
This one's layout is better than Wasteland.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's basically so it's first of all the elevators actually work there.
Oh my God. Don't even get me and Dave on the fucking elevators. Man, we had a story every time we were in one.
It worked for like 2 years.
Fuck,
Yeah.
I know, man.
Well, I always end up on like the fucking highest floors too, way at the end of the halls, which is probably normally because normally that's what I like at hotels. But so Creature Feature is first of all, like it just has more like breathing room in terms of like the hallways are a little bit longer and like on the first floor where the event is. It's not as like cramped, but also they have like pretty much 3 rooms. And one of the rooms is all like the celebrities, one is all vendors, and one is all like other shit, I guess. I don't know. But they're all like right next to each other, so it's like they're not far apart to where it's like confusing or anything. But then the thing I think that sucks about Creature Feature the most is there's no like movie vendors, like none. Like and that's crazy to me.
Really?
Yeah, dude, I don't understand it. Like, there's no Severin, there's no Vinegar Syndrome, there's no Synapse or anybody. Like, if they could get that down pat, it would probably be my favorite convention. And then the other thing that's cool about it is there's like an outside area, like a patio where people hang out. There's actually fire pits out across from the hotel, like in the big field. And then across, like up this, like literally like a couple blocks away, they rent out like an actual movie theater and they play the screenings there throughout the whole event. So and it's an actual like movie theater with it's a big one too. And so I got to see like Elm Street 2 there with Mark Patton and the director. I got to see like I said, Evil Dead, Henenlotter's Frankenhooker with Henenlotter. Yeah. So the actual like screenings are way better than at Wasteland because in Wasteland it's just like in a room with like a shitty like hold down screen. This is the actual theater,
right?
But it also is like kind of sucks because you don't want to spend all your time like seeing screenings while you're supposed to be having fun too. So I just pick like 1 or 2 things to check out and go to.
I'm like that at conventions though too. Like I have to be super into what they're screening.
Yeah.
Like when I saw Gutterballs 2, like that was only ever screened twice, once at Texas Frightmare and once in HorrorCon in Calgary. And so that was obviously I was going to see that. And also when they did Class of Nukem High, was it the part 2? Did they do part 2? Yeah, I think they did one of those. I mean, it's I got to be really into it, man, because I'm usually trying to be social.
This is what I think they're probably going to do. So a couple of people. So the one dude that's there is going to be doing. He was, I think, like the bad worm placement zombie in Zombie. but I doubt they would screen that for him. So I don't think they're going to screen that one. They also have Andrew Divoff, who was in who played the Wishmaster, I believe. So they could show that Wishmaster, which I think
he's cool, man. I've met him before.
Tim Capello, he's always there. He's fun. Then they have Ann Bobby. I don't know where she's from. Nightbreed and Tales from the Crypt. Craig Schaefer, he's from Hellraiser Inferno.
It's crazy. I actually have a friend named Craig Schaefer. I was actually in his wedding party. I was the best man at his wedding.
Okay, they're definitely showing Evil Dead 2. I just realized it because they have Cassie from Evil Dead 2, Richard from Evil Dead 2, and Sarah from Evil Dead 2. Sarah Berry, like, I don't know what their character's name is, but all three of them are from Evil Dead 2, so I imagine they'll probably show Evil Dead 2. Stephen Jeffries is going to be there. How about that?
Wow.
And then Charles Band's going to be there, so I'm sure he'll be selling some Full Moon movies. And then the guy who played Billy in Silent Night, Deadly Night. So I think that they might do like Evil Dead 2,
which I just met and had a great conversation with him. I told a story about he was talking about how Tarantino screens Silent Night, Deadly Night a couple times in October or in December every year, and they do like Q&As and shit. It's fucking awesome.
They also have Finn Carter, who played the love interest in Tremors, the woman.
Oh yeah,
with the seismographs.
Yeah,
which that's pretty wild. And the guy who played Jack Frost, I think, or the director of Jack Frost, Scott McDonald. I don't know which one he is. So yeah, that pretty cool lineup of guests, but I'm excited to do the screenings too. I imagine Evil Dead 2 will definitely be shown. Yeah. Oh, Tommy Chong's going to be there as well.
Chong.
Which is tough for me because, like, I fucking love Cheech and Chong. One of my favorite things of all time. And I love a lot of this stuff, like Wishmaster. Like, I feel like I'll never get a chance to meet, like, that dude again, Andrew Divoff. Normally, I don't do a lot.
It's funny. I met him last year. It's like crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
I normally don't do a lot of the meetings, like, just because it's got so expensive to meet these people, you know?
Yeah.
To like get a picture and stuff. So I normally have like not really been doing that a lot lately, but there's some like people I'm actually would like to meet here and talk to. Charles Band, like, how do I not meet Charles Band?
Yeah, Charles Band was supposed to be at HorrorCon 2 years ago. He canceled, but he's actually there this year. He's rescheduled and he's back, but it's the formats I already talked about. It's all different and shit, so I'm not even thinking I'm going, but yeah, he's gonna be back. Actually, the fucking guest list at HorrorCon this year is crazy, dude. There's so many big names. That's pretty crazy. So, but speaking of that, did you guys, JP, did you hear about the new Wolf Creek Legacy movie?
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, so Wolf Creek Legacy is coming. I think they announced it for 2026. It's coming from Sinverse and Bloody Disgusting. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So they're doing a third one, which I always said, like, why the fuck don't they do a third one? Because like I love the second one. The second one,
because
like,
didn't they do that little like mini series like TV show thing too?
Yeah, I never watched it. I
either.
Yeah, so. I was like, man, because I thought Wolf Creek 2 was really fucking fun, man. It was over the top and ridiculous, but apparently John Jarrett's back as, playing McTaylor. So I'm like, that's pretty fucking awesome. And Bloody Disgusting being involved with Sinverse and shit. So I'm like, this might be good. This might be really good. I'm excited for it.
It could be.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's pretty dope, honestly. Like,
yeah.
What is what other news came out that I wanted to talk to you guys about? So like,
I just noted a couple things because I wanted to talk about the Wolf Creek because I was excited because like I after part 2 I was like, fuck man, I like part 2. Like it's so ridiculously over the top.
Yeah, I do too. Oh, this is what it was. Their Hammer is doing a new film.
Really?
I keep seeing. Yeah. I keep seeing these articles that, like, even play discussing for the first time in 60 years, Hammer Films unleashes a brand new monster.
That's not right.
That's not true.
Well, I don't know if it's not true because, like, are they saying that Hammer hasn't done a film in 60 years? Because that's not true. Or are they saying they haven't done like a monster movie in 60 years?
That could be what they're trying to get out there.
Yeah,
because the Hammer films that were coming
had a little bit of a resurgence with like A Woman in Black and wasn't like Wakewood Hammer or something.
None of them were monster films though, so
Yeah.
I think that's maybe where it's kind of
So yeah, but I'm pretty excited about that. That's pretty dope because even like the other stuff that they did, like modern, like the ones we just mentioned, I thought they were pretty solid.
Mhm.
So this one is Ithaquah is the name of it. Moodz. It's set in 1800s Canada.
So what is the monster?
It's like a native folklore type shit.
Oh, it's a folklore. Okay.
Yeah. So it basically is about the fur trade is in a decline and a remote outpost is starving. A mercenary fights to unite survivors against the cold, the hunger, and something far worse. So it sounds like some sort of like, you know, native like monster, like a Wendigo type shit or something.
Yeah, that's pretty much the extent of Canadian history right there is like the fur trade stories.
It has
all we got.
Luke Hemsworth, Kevin Durant, Michael Pitt, and Craig Lazan and Lena Robinson in it. And the poster actually looks kind of cool. So that's pretty cool, man. I'm down with some Hammer returning.
Yeah, man. 100%.
Also, Natasha Lyonne is set to star in Basketful of Heads, which is Joe Hill's story. So I thought that was
Is it a TV show though, or is it a movie? Because
I think it's a movie.
Oh, okay. Because I thought it was like a fucking show or something like that, like a mini series or something like that. But I could be wrong. Probably wrong.
Yeah, but I just thought that. Oh, and the other thing, this is the thing I wanted to bring up. Joe Bob's famous, because you brought up Joe Bob earlier, which that returns, I believe, the first Friday in March for anybody who's interested, with a double feature. I think they're showing Phantom of the Opera because they said one of the films is celebrating like 100-year anniversary or something. But I just pre-ordered this myself. But Joe Bob Goes to Drive-In is finally coming back in print. So Joe Bob wrote a couple books way back in the day, which basically chronicles all these like reviews that he wrote for like newspapers and stuff in the like 70s and 80s during like his drive-in like journalism. And for years they've been out of print, going for hundreds of dollars. And I guess they're reprinting this one. And it is basically not only a reprint, but it's an expanded edition. So they're actually adding like a ton of new content in there, illustrations, different stuff. Like it's just packed full of shit. And that is available for pre-order, 200-page hardcover. It's $55 US, but I pre-ordered it because I've always wanted to read those books. I've heard really good things about them. They're just like another like coffee table type of like fascinating history of horror type shit, you know?
Right. Yeah, I saw you mention that, and I was like, yeah, well, that's pretty fucking cool. There's nothing. I mean, books are so funny, man. Like they put them out and they go to print so quick. Like you have to buy books. Like right away.
Well, to be fair, these ones came out in like the early 2000s or something.
But they were probably out of print by like 6 months later. That's just the way they are.
Yeah,
it is strange. But yeah, no, that's fucking cool, man.
Yeah, so pretty cool. Pretty excited about that. I love like horror books. Like horror books are just the coolest shit ever.
Yeah, I was actually reading my Analog Nightmares earlier today. The one that's all based on shot on video, like the whole history of shot on video.
Yeah.
Because I was looking for films from like 92 and I found a couple in there that I didn't have on my list. I was like, oh shit, totally. So that's pretty fucking sweet. But I I thought it was actually really interesting. I was flipping through Bloody Disgusting, and they had this article on Clint Eastwood's Play Misty for Me movie. And it was talking about how like it basically carved out an entire horror subgenre. I was like, I never really thought of that.
What is it?
Play Misty for Me. It would have been like the crazy girlfriend that like. Yeah,
they call it from like the from hell subgenre, basically.
Yeah.
Like a couple years or like
the Fatal Attraction type of deal. It's like a girl that like gets upset that like he sleeps with and then like thinks they're like their thing.
Right. And
DJ.
I read this article and I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Cause I Play Misty for Me is a fucking great movie from Eastwood. He probably one of the only like real kind of like horror thrillers that he really ever did, but it's good. And
it directorial debut, right?
I think so. You might be right on that. Yep, it is. Yeah. And well, fact checks right there. Yeah, you got it right.
Didn't you just get something wrong?
Yeah, I thought someone called me on like a month later. I thought the kid from Satan's Back Row, the Jack Black movie we watched. I forgot the name. The Christmas one. I thought like the little kid in that was like the little like chubby like Nazi kid from Jojo Rabbit with the glasses. I even like sent a picture to the group chat. Like I thought this was this kid, and everyone's like, "Well, they do look a lot alike." To be fair, but yeah, I was wrong.
Fucking Tyler once again embarrassing us.
Honestly, I think I saw that somebody. I think like I saw. Like,
I know I laughed at that.
Like a YouTube short of like of somebody talking about that movie, and I think they pointed that out, and I just didn't fact check them, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's funny."
Tyler's blaming other people for his faults.
No, it got me in the mood for it though, because like I was watching like the prelims of the fights and shit like that, and kind of got bored with it. So I was like, fuck, you know what? I feel like watching Fatal Attraction now. So I watched that last night. It's fucking great.
Never seen that before.
It's still so good.
You just randomly watched that for no reason?
Yeah, because I'd read this article and I was like, oh, they were talking about Fatal Attraction. I'm like, man, I haven't seen Fatal Attraction in years, man. I'm like, I love Michael Douglas, Glenn Close. It's fucking crazy. It's got that nasty ass bunny scene. And
what year did that movie come out?
I think it's 87, I think.
Might be right. It's late 80s.
I think it's 87. But yeah, it's like, I mean, it's the definition of like from hell, kind of like, yeah, don't do this. This is why you don't cheat on your spouse, man. This is exactly the reason. This is the reason. Like Fatal Attraction is the textbook reason. Yeah, it can go real south on you. So, But yeah, good movie though.
What were we talking about before that?
I don't remember.
A lot of Joe Bob talk. Well, I had brought up the whole Wolf Creek thing. Yeah, I don't know.
What were we talking about before we got into? You said they put out an article that said like this Clint Eastwood movie like kicked off a subgenre or something.
Oh yeah. That's what led me into Fatal Attraction.
Yeah,
they talk about Fatal Attraction and stuff like that. So that whole kind of like other woman from hell type thing. But I just thought it was interesting because I'd never thought of like Play Misty for Me being like kind of that kickstart.
Yeah,
and I just thought it was really interesting. Like, holy shit! Like Clint Eastwood was responsible for that. That's pretty fucking.
That's wild. The thing at the time. They would have been like, "Ooh, the Clint Eastwood movie." Let's go see.
Yeah, no, it's good, man. It's got a really good release from Kino too. So check that out.
Did you see that? Did you see that?
But I have a blue.
Did you see that they're apparently greenlit a Goonies too?
Yeah. Apparently, it's actually happening. So
I don't know how I feel about this.
All the same people.
And isn't Corey Feldman actually involved in it too?
I think so.
I hope they're all involved and they're all.
No, I think everyone's coming back
again.
The Data, that guy got kind of big all of a sudden, right?
I think everybody is back for this. Like from what I've read,
about?
Yeah.
Like, cause he's in that new movie that like.
Well, he retired from acting like in the early 90s, right? Like he did a couple films. I think he did.
And then he was in Everything Everywhere All at Once or whatever.
Oh, that guy. Oh, yeah. He won an Oscar.
Because he was. Well, he quit acting for like, 20 something years or something like that. And then he came back and all of a sudden he's like doing big things. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because I
don't think that movie was supposed to be a big thing, though. I think it just blew up.
But like the fact that he came back to acting because he literally quit to go to school and become like he was like a fucking rocket scientist or some crazy shit. Like he had like a big, like actual real career. And
Yeah, but maybe that's why they greenlit it. They're like, man, we got a big star here now. Let's do it.
right, that's crazy.
Because he was in that other movie that just came out like this past this past week, I think, or 2 weeks ago, called like Love Hurts or something like that. Another like February type.
Oh, he's in that movie too?
He's the star of it.
Oh goodness.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, because I was watching the trailer in the theater with Carly, and I was like, that looks like fucking Data from the Goonies.
Yeah,
And it was.
I know
him.
him a short round from Temple of
That's
Doom.
random, dude. Wow, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I always think it's short round. That's what when I see him.
Well, the Goonies is my favorite movie ever. So
I mean, to be honest, I mean, it's obviously we're joking about, they're greenlit in it because Data got big again. But I mean, you have like Josh Brolin and shit. Like these guys are legit.
Yeah, like,
Sean
right,
Astin.
Yeah, I mean, Aston's what it is, but Brolin became a massive star forever. And like, I mean,
yeah,
he's a big sell.
Brolin's been a mainstay for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Sean Astin's career has like hit like a huge resurgence too. Like, wasn't he doing like a bunch of like important shit?
Probably
or so?
probably shit that I wasn't watching. Right. I mean,
Yeah. Wasn't he
Actually,
Lord of the Rings?
Speaking of fucking
Lord of the Rings.
What the hell was the name of that movie that just came out on Shudder? Did you guys see that?
The Elric Kane movie?
No, it's a movie from 2004. And I just thought it was so fucking random that this was on here. I'd never heard of this movie before. Of course, it stars Corey Feldman. It's called The Birthday. I just thought that was really odd.
Really?
On Shudder from 2004 called The Birthday. But yeah, just speaking of Feldman anyways, but random.
Damn.
It's fucking 2 hours? What the fuck? Crazy. Okay.
So the way that I look at the Goonies thing, dude, is it's like, okay, Sean Astin's in Love Hurts as well.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So like the Goonies thing is, they've always talked about like doing another Goonies movie where like all the original Goonies were like adults and it follows their kids, right? We've heard that for the last 20 years. And
nobody
I've
wants
always
to see.
thought,
I want to see them as adults go find another treasure.
Well, I'm sure they would.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm sure they would be like looking for their kids. The kids are like way ahead of them, and they're like having to chase the kids. Like,
what if they just don't have kids?
That's how I would think that it would play out.
Yeah.
What if they go on a
It's
boys'
like-
weekend, leave the kids behind?
I don't know. I don't think. I just don't know. I don't think they would. I just don't think they would make a movie like that.
No, I think like what they're gonna do obviously is have like them incorporate as much as they can, and they all have kids, and it just becomes something.
It's
like
just
that.
Because at the end, they're gonna like they're basically
That's just what they do. When they make movies like
they're
this, that's
gonna
what they
get
do.
people like us there for the nostalgia, but like the core of the movie is going to be a adventure film for modern day kids. You know what I mean? So the modern kids are the ones that they're going to probably focus on the most. If I was just predicting what I see,
it's the same conversation that we just had about like the new Scream films. They're made for the new generation, because not having Nev Campbell in the film was like, well, it's not really that big of a deal. It's not even made for the old school fans. It's made for the new fans. Get some new faces in there. Right. So,
and then, so I think that I think they'll do that, but like my thing is, if like they've talked about it forever, and I've always been like, I don't know if I want to even see it. But at this point, if you don't do it now, everybody's not going to be around to do it later. You know what I mean? So
I was the
guess
same
if
way.
You're gonna do it.
It is so far past. Like it's so long. Like I mean, the original Goonies came out in '85, bro. That's fucking 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy when you actually think about that, man. Like that's a long time between sequels. I mean, we used to think that like Psycho 2 was a long time. It was 21 years in real time. Like,
Yeah.
like this is fucking more than that. It's double. Pretty wild. It's pretty wild.
You know what's funny is there's a Goonies 2 NES game. That's like a sequel.
But I mean, historically, there has been sequels made way after the fact that have worked actually quite well. One sequel that I was always on the fence about seeing was the Dumb and Dumber, like the Dumb and Dumber sequel that came out, and that shit made me laugh like fucking. I I thought it was fun as hell. Like the opening sequence of that film was funny as hell. But
the whole like you've been faking a coma for all these years type thing.
Yeah, dude, I laughed
Dude,
so
see,
hard at that. I'm like, you played that joke up for 20 years.
That was the trailer for the movie, and right away it made me never want to see the movie.
Oh, really? I never watched it.
Yeah, because I felt like it completely did. I felt like it didn't feel like the characters. Like I'm like,
oh my god, dude!
They've always been like just dumb, but not like that. That just felt too stupid to me. Like they were dumb, not stupid to me. Like they were just, I don't know. It just didn't feel like the same people.
So you never watched it?
Never watched it.
Oh shit! Like, nope. It's funny. I think it's funny as hell, to be honest.
I was just really mad at that. Like, come on.
See, this is why you don't watch trailers, man. You don't watch fucking trailers.
You're gonna
I don't watch trailers.
Seriously say that this dude faked something for 20 years. Like this is
but it's just like
so stupid.
I feel like it's totally in their personalities to do some crazy shit like that because they're dumb as fuck. Like who would do that? Only fucking those guys would do that shit, man. But
I don't know, bro. Like it doesn't like if I watching the first Dumb and Dumber, I never felt like they did something that was too like mind-numbingly stupid.
Dude, they are so dumb in that fucking movie. The whole movie, they're stupid, man. Like the title like Dumb and Dumber actually makes a lot of sense because they are.
It's not like pure
borderline artards. Like
it's seriously. Like I know, but it seems like realistically dumb. Like somebody could stick their tongue to a pole, or someone could accidentally fucking light his foot on fire while pumping gas trying to flirt with a girl. Like nobody could actually sit there and fake being in a coma for 20 years. You know what I mean? Like,
unless you're so fucking stupid. Like
much.
It is. But I mean, that's kind of the point. It's a sequel. You got to go up and above. But the movie, like once that opening sequence, it's literally just the opening sequence. It has nothing to do with the movie.
I know, but it just pissed me off so bad. I was like, this so fucking jumped the shark. I could see someone putting peppers on some mob boss's thing that they don't know was a mob boss and accidentally killing him. Like that's like realistic enough to me, but like I don't know.
But then again, it's just comedy. Like what kind of comedies are actually realistic when you really think about it? Like,
but that's what made Dumb and Dumber so funny is because it's like it's just two kind of dumb guys. Like it didn't feel unbelievable.
I don't know. I don't think it's that much of a stretch to play out a joke for 20 years with these characters because they're ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous. But I don't know. It made sense to me.
What about Dumb and Dumber 2?
Oh,
I kind of like that one. Dumb and Dumber. I kind of like that one, even though
when Harry met Lloyd.
Yeah. It's also
I actually did.
I kind of like that one.
Eugene Levy like freaking out when he thought he shit all over the
I don't think I've actually seen
everywhere.
That was actually funny as fuck, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
It wasn't Eugene Levy. It was Bob Saget.
Oh, it was Bob Saget.
It was Bob Saget.
For some reason, I was thinking it was Eugene Levy.
And then at the end, he's like covered his chocolate again or something else, like mud or something.
Yeah,
and he ends up on top of his car,
and he just thinks the kid's
he's like, it's you again.
Problem with like shit.
And this is and this works for you. Are you serious?
It works better than like the
gag. But you haven't seen it, so you can't comment on it, though, man.
I've seen that joke. I've seen that joke.
He has a bar of chocolate he brought for the girl.
No, it plays out way better. I'm sure.
So he sits on the radiator to try to dry his pants, and it melts the chocolate. Then he tries to get the chocolate off and covers the bathroom in it.
I'm not even kidding though. It actually annoyed me so bad when I saw that scene. I was like, this is the fucking get out of here with this. So I totally Dave Z'd the movie.
Yeah,
where
that's
one
ridiculous.
Thing just completely turned me off.
I'm so glad I'm not jaded like that because that shit. Like I don't watch trailers, so it doesn't I don't get influenced by it or whatever. So I don't know. I just went into it pretty fucking blind.
This was also like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
When did that come out? 10 years ago or something?
I don't even know.
Long enough ago.
Yeah. It's been a while, but so never done one of these before. But since we're doing, kind of an AI thing tonight, I thought it would be fun to read off a list that is about AI.
I thought you were gonna pick up like romance horror or something.
No. The scariest movie is about artificial intelligence.
Okay.
So this is
let me think about this for a second, because that's
And
not
it says
really
movies-
common.
well, this covers different genres that have AI involved in them. So like this kind of is all over the place.
So 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Let me think. See, I don't know, man. AI.
Does Terminator count?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Terminator is the best.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything to do with like robotic stuff, like
Could we do Terminator on this show, or is it not horror enough?
Dude, I'd be so down to do. The first movie, I think, like if we did a list, like if we got whatever that year was, I really think I would consider the first one a horror movie.
yeah.
Like the first one scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. And like I saw that in the theater.
It did me too.
This past summer.
Man.
And like there's definitely some sequences presented as horror sequences.
Yeah.
Who made a comment about that? Like someone made a comment somewhere. I can't remember where I read that. They're like, yeah, and you're the type of person that would think that Terminator is a horror film. It was like a little diss. I was like, what
They
the
were
fuck?
probably talking to me.
Yeah, I remember. I can't remember where I read this comment. Anyways, doesn't matter.
Yeah, because I've always considered the first Terminator like a scary movie. And that's what I called horror movies before I knew what the term horror was. I used to call them scary movies.
Right.
And when I was a kid, I would totally have put that right in the collection with fucking Jason and Freddy, because it was scary to me. But but like that's just one movie out of the franchise.
Yeah, I
that's
think
like
after that, they're really not horror.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think any of them are horror after that. But
No, they're just action films.
would we be able to do the Terminator franchise, or do you think it's like not?
Fuck, it's our shit. We can do whatever we want, man.
whatever
It's
you
like-
want. Yeah.
I would want to do that.
I think I only
I would do
haven't
the Terminator
seen
films.
The newest one, the one where like Sarah Connor's old.
What is it?
The latest one that came out like 2 years ago or something, where Sarah Connor's like an old
Genesis. What? No,
I
not
think I've
Genesis.
seen Genesis.
What
What
It's
is there?
another one
6?
after
There's
that.
6 movies now.
I think there's 7.
Is there
So you
7?
have.
No, there
what-
might be 6, and I think no, you're right. There might be 6 because there's.
Hold on, just shut the fuck up for a second. I'll tell you how many there are.
I think there's
So you have 1 through 3, and then you have Salvation, and
Yeah.
then you have Genesis. So that's what, 5,
5.
and then
Yeah.
you have what was the last? So 6, yes.
Yeah.
6.
Yeah, 4 is really bad. I
think
remember
it's
seeing that in the
like
theater,
dark.
being like, "Holy fuck, it was bad."
Yeah, that's one with Christian Bale, right?
Yeah,
And
it
they have like an
sucked.
AI Arnie at the end.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah, I don't know. It was. I think most of them suck, honestly. After
Yeah.
part like 3,
I love the first 2, and my dad took me to see the third one when I was a kid. Like when it came in theaters, like probably like 2003 or something. I remember thinking like being really disappointed in the third one.
I don't mind the third one, actually. It's not a great movie, but it's better than 4.
I think it actually does a good job of like closing the franchise in terms of like what the franchise was supposed to be.
Right.
Like this, not the franchise, the storyline.
Yeah.
Like it actually
I know
kind
what
of
you
makes sense for the storyline aspect of it.
Yeah. I agree. All right, so this list here is coming via IndieWire, and I don't even think these are numbered or whatever. It doesn't matter. So the first one on the list is Metropolis from 1927.
Oh, Metropolis. That's AI? What? What is AI about that movie?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Is
That's
there
a re-
robots in it?
I mean,
Like
they're using the machines, and maybe it has something to do with the machines that are in the narrative, I guess.
I don't know.
Because I mean, it's kind of robotic, I guess. But okay.
That's a stretch.
Next on here is 2001: A Space Odyssey from 1968. That makes sense. Next one up here is Colossus: The Forbidden Project from 1970. I'm pretty sure JP, did you watch this one for? You never watched this one for 70?
What is it called?
Colossus: The Forbidden Project. Screen Factory actually put out this Blu-ray.
I do not think I watched that.
Okay, yeah, I don't like it actually. Oh, this is a great one, man. Westworld from 1973.
Okay. I haven't seen that movie. That's kind of
I love Westworld, man. It's so good. Next one up here is a Stepford Wives from 1975.
Oh yeah, I totally
Okay.
didn't think
That
of
makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Next one
big
is
fan of that one.
yeah,
Yeah.
Demon Seed from 1977, which is
We
I
not,
don't like that
did we
movie.
do that one on here?
yeah, it's a good movie.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was pregnancy, right? Pregnancy
Right.
horror.
Right. Next up here is Blade Runner from 1982.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Right. That makes sense.
I've never seen that.
War Games from 1983. Wow.
Never seen that.
Matthew Broderick film. Yeah. It's I don't mind War Games. It's okay. Next up here is The Terminator from 1984.
Absolutely.
That makes sense. Oh, here we go. 1987's RoboCop. Of course.
Yeah.
Like, RoboCop's fucking amazing. 1999's Virus.
I haven't seen it. That's the Jamie Lee movie.
That movie's mid as hell.
Yeah, it's not that great. 1999's The Matrix. Okay. 2001's AI, artificial
I've
intelligence.
never seen The Matrix.
You've never seen The Matrix?
I want to see it. I didn't know this until recently, but that was supposed to be Stanley Kubrick's next movie.
Fuck, man. I didn't really care for AI, to be honest. But I don't know.
Yeah,
It's been forever. I saw it when it came out, so it's been fucking 24 years, but I wasn't a huge
I don't
fan.
know if it was his widow or somebody that was like close to him, but they like brought the script to Spielberg and said like this is his next movie. Like you're the only one like I trust to make it.
2002's Minority Report. I like that movie.
That's a decent movie. I've seen that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie,
Tom
actually.
Cruise.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I hate this movie. iRobot, 2004.
I saw it in theaters and I liked it.
I ain't no
I
iRobot.
I'm
was like
not a
11
big fan of this movie. I don't know.
I just Will Smith's legendary status has just been like so tainted for me.
It's so I agree, man. I agree. I usually don't like to let, shit like that get in my way of my, my thoughts and feelings and shit.
I used to be a big like Will Smith guy.
Me too, man. Like he
always
fucking
loved
ruined he ruined everything about him. He was such he just seemed like a guy you want to hang out with, he's like cool and shit.
He was like the homie, dude. Like he was just like, he was bringing like a nice like hip hop flair to like mainstream shit when nobody was cared about hip hop and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the Fresh Prince and stuff. Like my grandfather, who never liked hip hop or anything like that, liked that shit. So,
but the fact it was
but I
over
don't
like
know,
some
man, it just,
jokes,
like,
man. Like
sucks.
it's Chris
Yeah.
Rock, dude. It's fucking Chris Rock. Like that's what he does, man.
and it's freaking Jada, dude.
I know she's
Nobody-
she's
was looking
she's
to
such
take
a
out his
dick to you
aggression
anyway,
somewhere.
bro.
she's out to lunch and she was always fucking around on Will. Like he's lost his
Yeah,
fucking mind,
no,
dude. He's
it's
lost
like-
his fucking mind.
Yeah, it just sucks, dude, because like I was always a big fan of him.
2013's Her.
Her.
It was a good movie.
Yeah.
With Joaquin Phoenix. It was a good
Yeah,
film.
and Scarlett Johansson as the computer voice.
Yeah, good film.
They completely record it with someone else and like pose their like.
Wonder if there's gonna be the 1996 classic from Disney, Smart House, on this list.
Well,
I hope
if
so.
you haven't
That'd
been
be
paying
awesome.
attention, it's been in order of years.
I don't even know. I don't even
okay.
know what year that came out. I just
It would have been. We're past it. It
Yeah,
was
so-
like early 2000s or late 90s. I don't remember exactly.
So we were in 2013 and we're going to 2015 with Ex Machina or Machina.
Ex Machina.
Ex
Machina. That's a
I don't really like this movie. People,
That movie was.
everyone.
I really liked it too. I think Dave Parker did not like it.
I don't
I
really
liked
like
it.
this movie. And every time I told it to someone, they're like, "What? You don't like Ex Machina?"
I thought it
You
was
don't
pretty
like
cool.
it, Tyler?
Yeah, people are always surprised that I'm not a
Is
fan of it.
that's Garland, right?
It's Garland. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm honestly like not that hot on Garland. I didn't like Civil War. I thought Men was decent. I kind of like that. I really didn't like Annihilation either. Or
Dude,
like-
Annihilation is lit. That
I
Annihilation.
like Annihilation.
Annihilation is going to be a movie in 20 more years, and I'll probably say that again later. That people are going to like really appreciate as like a cool like sci-fi classic. I guarantee.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
That
pretty good.
movie is super smart, and like the more you dig into it, it's kind of genius.
I've only seen it once, so see, I really didn't like.
There's
it.
a lot of like symbolism, and like there's just a lot of like deeper stuff that you might not catch on the first view.
Yeah.
I also saw it like way before I was like even like perceptive enough about a lot of those things about movies.
Yeah, that it made my top 10, and then I did it with Duncan on Opera Omnia for Alex Garland. Which, speaking of which, we still need to do Civil War. And I really loved it when I watched it for that. I also did like more research into it for that show as well.
Yeah.
So it made sense.
This is one I've actually never seen before. 2016 Operator.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is actually at all. I've never even heard of it. So 2018's Upgrade. This movie's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that movie's cool.
Yeah, that's Lee Winnell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's his best movie.
I agree. I was gonna say, I think
this shit was fucking fly, man. I love that movie. It's great.
Yeah.
Oh wow. 2019's Child's Play.
You know what's funny is I was thinking of that when I was writing up my little review for Companion. I was thinking like, dude, we've saw such like an influx of like AI movies, and I started thinking about like all the ones that came out, and I was like, dude, even Child's Play.
Yeah, right. Right.
The remake of Child's Play, which is still so funny that there's two franchises going on at the same time.
Yeah, that's weird. 2019's Into the Dark, Culture Shock. So that
I think I watched that.
It's from the TV series, right?
Yeah.
Never watched it either. So
they're all holiday episodes.
Right. I Am Mother 2019. I don't know what this is either.
Nope.
It's funny how the new films, like how the movies get so much newer. I've never even heard of half of them.
That's like a Netflix movie. It's not very good.
Okay. Of course, Megan from 2023.
Oh my God! Did you guys see the trailer for that sequel?
Nope, I don't watch them.
I actually did. I did watch the trailer because I'm not going to watch the movie probably because I don't give a fuck about it. I didn't like the first one.
The first one was so fun, but man, dude, the CG on the trailer for the second one, I was just like, what the fuck are they doing?
Dude, it looked bad. It looked really bad.
Yeah, it looked incredibly bad.
The Creator from 2023. What the fuck is this? Not even a clue.
No, yeah, I don't know what that is.
And that's the end of the list. Okay. Wow.
That was a shitty list, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
All right. So here's another movie web. 20 scariest movies about artificial intelligence. Number 20, Westworld, 1973. Young E from 2023. What the fuck is this? It's a JUNG_E. Young E. Okay. I don't know. It's South Korean, so it's probably good.
No Evolver on any of these lists. That's ridiculous.
Number 18 is The Terminator. Number 17, 2001 Space Odyssey. Number 16, The Matrix. Number 15, Transcendence from 2014. I have never seen this movie. It's got Johnny Depp, Morgan Freeman.
I haven't seen this.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. Number 14 is The Demon Seed. Number 13, Uncanny. Don't even know what the fuck that is. Not even a clue. Number 12 is Christmas, Bloody Christmas.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Fuck yeah. All right. Number 11 is Child's Play of 2019. Number 10 is AI. Number 9 is The Alpha Test from 2020. What the fuck is that? I don't know. It looks very horrorish, actually, but I've never seen it. Number 8 is Ex Machina, whatever. Fucking
Machina.
Number 7 is Megan. Number 6 is iRobot. Fuck that movie. I Am Mother from 2019. I don't know that one either. Okay.
That was the Netflix one that we talked about. I said wasn't good.
Okay. So number 4 is Blank from 2022. Fuck, I don't know that one either. Oh, for fuck's sake. Number 3 is AMI from 2019. I don't know this one either.
What that is.
All these top ones, I don't know what the hell they are. Number 2 is Okay Teo from 2018. What the fuck? It's got Gary Oldman in it. Okay, and then number 1 is Upgrade. All right. That list is fucking terrible because it doesn't have RoboCop, so that's stupid.
RoboCop.
Honestly,
that was scariest though,
I think
right?
these lists are super shitty, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to read.
I feel like I could come up with better AI movies than this.
Probably. But
do you guys ever see Evolver?
No.
It's like from like 95 or something like that.
I don't think so.
It's just about this kid who gets like this, like, I don't know if he like wins a contest or something, but what about small fucking soldiers?
Ooh, small
Yeah.
soldiers. Hell yeah.
But he basically wins this like, or he gets this like robot thing that like, it's like basically a game where you play with like, it shoots out these like rubber bullets and stuff, and you have to, it's like laser tag kind of, but it's like AI, like this robot. Basically, you have to try to beat it in laser tag or something, but then it gets all like fucking crazy and starts, instead of like the rubber balls, it like gets a bunch of steel ball bearings and shit. Kind of reminds me of like the darkness of Child's Play 3 when he replaces all the fucking paint bullets with real bullets.
Yeah.
That's the most dirty fucking son of a bitch thing.
That's so sick. That's one of the best parts about that movie.
Yeah, it is. It is. But yeah, not many people have seen this movie, but I've always been like a big fan of it. It's called Evolver. It's only on DVD, I think. It never got like a Blu-ray or anything.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it.
But I don't know. I think like, what do you think in general about like AI horror and like the influx of it we're seeing?
I mean, obviously, like horror's obviously emulated current topics and just the way the world is, and AI is definitely one of the more growing topics of the last couple of years. So it's natural that it's going to happen. I don't think there's like really anything that's like hit it out of the park yet. I think there's like sort of some with a lot of these movies. I think they go wrong, where there's almost some sort of disconnect where like where I at least have like a hard time taking it seriously at times, because it seems like it goes like 0 to 100 so quick. In a way.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like a lot of them are like unrealistic.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but like in like for the list like we were going through, like for example, like 2001, like the way the computer like learns, or how I should say, like learns that like starts to become conscious of what it is, and like the power that astronauts have on them, and like taking it through that process seems so much more realistic than some of the way like these movies play out. Blade Runner is another good one like that, where like you could see like, okay, well, this many years into the future, and they explain like what these things are and like how they become like self-aware and have a shelf life. It's really cool. And I think, but like those movies, like obviously they're like science fiction, but they have like some sort of realism to them where they were like more effective movies than maybe some of these movies have been so far. But again, like I think a lot of these movies are still like working themselves out. If you really look at most genres, there's a lot of things that were on the verge of getting it right or getting it wrong before something like really got it right and it took off. So
yeah, and also, I mean, dude, fucking the Terminator actually nails the whole concept, and I don't think it's ever been done as good as like Terminator 1 and 2. Of like how AI could take over and become self-aware and stuff. I think it's like nails it perfectly. And it's kind of crazy that it was so long ago too. It like kind of predicted the future in a way.
Westworld's kind of like that too.
Yeah,
I
hear
see
good things
Westworld.
about Westworld as well.
Westworld's fucking awesome, man. Like they made a sequel called Future World. It's not as good, but yeah,
Plus
Westworld.
there's the TV show. It's funny. Like you ever just realize like how much of a movie like slash whatever fan you are? Like I'm listening to like my boss and her boss talking in her office the other day, and they're talking about Westworld, and like I just wanted to be like walk in and be like, you know, that was like a TV, like that's a TV show, but they were like movies back in the 70s.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But like I don't want to be that guy. But it's like it's just sometimes it's funny how like people talk about stuff. Like I remember hearing people talk about Bates Motel, like as if it was this new thing.
Yep.
And there's no, like they had no idea about Psycho or anything.
Yep.
Like, and they're just like talking
How
about.
could you
like,
not
Bates
know
Motel
Psycho though?
as
Like
if it's this-
it's like it's one of those movies where like even if you're not a genre fan, you know Psycho. Like it's just a universal film. It's like
it's one of those things I knew as a kid. Like,
even if you haven't
escape
seen
it.
the movie, you fucking heard of Psycho, right?
Right.
Yeah, but it's just people that aren't into cinema or movies at all, right? Like it's just people
I will
that
say
don't
though,
know.
like the way
I just can't
learned
believe
about-
those people exist. It's weird to me.
I mean, it's the
like,
same people that
Psycho.
say that Evil Dead 1 looked like it was filmed in the 1820s. You know what I mean? Like
Oh
it's
my
just
God.
there's
Because because that's viable.
It makes my head
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah, but it's just true. Like there's just certain people that have like no, like I mean, my one coworker said because I think I said I watched 11 movies in the theater this year so far, or something, or 9 or something, and she was like, I've watched 9 movies in the theater my entire life.
Dude, that's fucked.
You know what I mean?
That's fucked
Just
to
stuff
me.
like that. It's just such different people.
Right. That's wild. That's really wild.
But yeah, I don't know. Like AI for me, I think that it works sometimes. It doesn't work. I almost think it works better when it's not taken seriously and it's done more like fun, like Child's Play was. Then I think it's harder to make realistic.
I like the concept of AI. Exactly. Well, I'm at that stance too. It's like it's very hit and miss with me though when it comes to the concept. But we'll get into that a little bit more later.
I can't remember. There was a movie that I watched for 92 that was totally AI based. Trying to figure out what it was.
For 92.
Yeah, it is. Oh, here it is. It is called Homewrecker.
Oh yeah, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, a computer scientist invests in experimental artificial intelligence that can manage and control all the functions of his vacation cabin in the woods. When he gives it a female personality, it becomes a little too managing and controlling, resulting in deadly consequences. It's basically like Smart House. It was pretty fun. I liked it.
Speaking of prep, how are you guys doing on 59?
I watched 2 this week, which is good.
What am I at?
I mean, we're eventually going to get into more 92 talk, but like, yeah, how's it going on 59?
I'm at 11 for 59. I would say that's probably about a third of the way there.
I'm at 15. I knocked off a couple this week too.
I'm at 7. I've been kind of on like the last like week and a half. I haven't really watched that many movies. I kind of like took a little break.
Wait a minute, I'm missing one.
I watched so many movies in January that I was like, I need to like.
Dude, I know. Like, I've watched like 60 something films, and I'm like, you're like at what 300? I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
I watched over 100 in January, but I've cooled it a lot in February. The thing is, I do this every year, and now I kind of get why I did this last year too. I think it's because we had so much prep at the end of the year. In like last year, remember we did 2011 in like February. So like I was also just grinding like 92 2023s and 2011s. But I think finally right when I get into the new year, I'm like, I don't got to prep. I can watch whatever I want. I just go crazy and I just watch like all the stuff like I haven't been able to watch, like all different genres.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm having fun with 59, man. It's so much fun to me.
I actually am a little shocked that the movies have been as enjoyable as they have been for 59. Because
so what have you watched? You've watched 11 films. So what have you watched so far?
So I've watched The Giant Gila Monster, which is probably actually the worst movie I've watched out of everything so far.
Yeah.
I watched The Bat. I watched The Wasp Woman. Of course, we did that on the show. I watched Bucket of Blood. We did that on the show. The Alligator People. That's a pretty fun one. I watched Journey to the Center of the Earth, which isn't really horror, but I just wanted to pad the numbers.
Yeah, I saw that you watched that, and I was like, fuck, where can I watch that? I'm like searching around, so I did a quick little Google, and it's like, no, it's on Disney Plus. I'm like, fuck yeah, I actually have Disney Plus. I'm like, shit, I didn't even know it was on there.
Have you seen that before?
I have seen the original one. Yeah, I actually prefer, to be honest, I like the 77 one more.
Yes, I do too.
And Severin actually recently put that out on the kids line or whatever. So
yeah,
but I haven't seen the 59 one.
Hold on, I think I've seen the Czech one.
I haven't seen the 59 one since I was like younger. Like I remember they used to play it on TV because it is black and white, right? Yeah. So
No, I'm thinking of something
No,
else.
the 59 is not black and white.
is it color? Fuck,
Yes,
man, it's
it's
been
color.
so long since I've seen it, man. So yeah. Anyways, I put it in my queue, so I'm gonna check it out this week, though.
Yeah, I figured I would revisit it. It's been forever. I watched it when I was a kid last.
Yeah, me too.
The Hound of Baskerville. That movie was pretty dope, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really a big Sherlock Holmes guy, but
Man, it's Peter
you got
Cushing, man. It's Peter
Cushing and Christopher Lee in there.
Yep.
It has good, nice atmosphere. Directed by Terrence Fisher. Pretty good movie. And then I also watched Curse of the Undead, which is why I didn't want to do it on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Jack the Ripper, which was pretty good as well.
It's actually one of my favorite adaptations. It was the first time watch for me this week too. And because that's Severin Blu-ray, and it's actually one of my favorite adaptations of Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I mean, it is pretty good. Yeah. And then The Mummy, that was a first time watch. The Hammer Mummy.
No, it's such a good
I
movie.
think it might be the best mummy that exists, maybe, out of the ones I've seen. I mean, I do like the Brendan Fraser ones a lot, or however the hell you say his name.
I can't do it, man. But I actually prefer the Hammer Mummy over the Universal ones, which is crazy. Because I saw the first time I watched the Hammer one was sometime in the night. Like, I grew up watching Universal films. I was talking about that. I'd seen them over and over and over again. And then when I saw the Hammer version, I was like, oh shit. It was pretty fucking good. So
yeah. And then what was the other one? And then Curse of the Undead I said that one already. The Killer Shrews, which out of like all the type of movies we got around the time, like Gila Monster, Wasp Woman, Alligator People, Killer Shrews, like those type of movies. I didn't watch Attack of the Giant Leeches yet. But dude, I watched
that one actually.
I actually like Killer Shrews a lot. Like that
Killer Shrews and Gila Monster is like a double feature from Film Masters.
Yeah, I have the Blu-ray of that. But I think that Killer Shrews is way stronger than Gila Monster.
Yeah. Shrews is way better. Yeah.
And then I also checked out 4D Man, which was put out by Kino.
I've got the Blu-ray. I haven't watched it yet. I actually have it sitting on my table to watch, but I saw that you watched it and I was like, nice.
It's another like mad scientist type thing. Like,
right.
Like this guy, it actually reminds me a ton of the Invisible Man and Hollow Man as well.
Yep.
Where the dude just like sort of like gets like super infatuated with the power that he now has, and it like goes to his head. Because basically he can just like go through walls and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was pretty fun, dude. Overall, man, fucking loving 1959 because it's just all this sci-fi, like mad scientist, like atomic, like creature stuff. Like it's just good shit. It's way better than 36.
Oh yeah, way better.
What was it, 36 that we did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's way better than 36, dude.
Yeah, I watched The Mummy very shortly after we did the Corman double feature. I watched Horrors of the Black Museum. Since then, that's a good film. The Black Pit of Dr. M, which is out fucking standing. That movie's amazing.
Did Kino put that out as well? Did somebody put that out?
The Black Pit of Dr. M was actually released by Indicator. I have an old, what's the sublabel Synapse? They put out the DVD years ago of that. Panic something. Yeah. So there is a Region 1 DVD of it, but Indicator put out a box set of some of those films that Synapse had put out in Region 1. So I had to snatch that up because the Black Pit of Dr. M I watched, I don't know, probably 10, 12 years ago for the first time. And it's phenomenal. It's amazing. It's outstanding storytelling, man. It's really, really fucking well done. It's
check that one out.
I rewatched The Angry Red Planet, which is really fun. The Ghost of Yotsuya, whatever the fuck it's called. I was hella disappointed in that movie. The Four Skulls. Yeah. The Four Skulls with Jonathan Drake. I've always been a big fan of that movie. Love that one. Alligator People, fun movie. Jack the Ripper is fucking outstanding. The Stranglers of Bombay, which is a Hammer film that I'd never seen before. I'd picked it up in one of those Hammer box sets years ago and I just never watched it. And I thought it was really good. I thought it was pretty fun. Terrors of Man, I've seen many times. It's still boring. I don't know why I always think I'm going to like this movie. I just think it's too long for what it is. There's just not enough action. But Beast from Haunted Cave, Rewatched that one. It's fun. I just wish there was more Beast in it. And then I rewatched.
I wish there was more Haunted Cave in it.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Manster, which I fucking love.
Is that a man hamster? Is that what that is?
No, it's
I
Manster.
watched that one and I didn't like it.
Dude, really? I love the Manster. It's so much fun, man.
Okay, let me ask you this.
What is the stir? Is it a monster?
Is it in
or
color
hamster?
or is it in black and white?
He's like a two-headed monster. He's like a two-headed monster.
Yeah, and it looks like paper mache.
Dude, when it fucking
It
at the
looks
end of the
so
movie,
bad.
dude, it's fun. How did you watch it? Because Screen Factory put out a nice Blu-ray.
Okay, so is it in color or is it in black and white? Because I watched it on YouTube and it looked like it was some like black and white colorized version, and it looked really weird, and I kind of felt like I was missing out on some good black and white shadows.
I think it's in color. Fuck, now you got me tripping.
It seemed like it was like that type of colorized thing where like they go back later on and they make a black and white movie.
Like how they did with Night of the Living Dead and Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, the problem with that is it looks like shit sometimes because a lot of these films that were shot in black and white were lit a certain way to look good in black and white. I know one movie I watched like that was Some Like It Hot, and it looked like shit because it was like lit completely wrong.
Right.
Yeah, I actually need to get on more. Like, I mean, I watched 2 this week or whatever, but that show's actually coming up semi quickly. So
yeah,
well, it's under 3 months.
Mix them in before I like took a little break, but they're pretty short. They're all like
the
longest ones are like
good
90
about
minutes.
it.
So like I'm like not really worried about it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty fucking sure. No, it is. It is in black and white. The Screen Factory Blu-ray is in black and white. Yeah, it is.
So that's probably was.
So there's a colorized version of it?
Yeah, go look it on YouTube, and it looks weird. It's like they added the color in afterwards. Like they use like some type of technology to colorize it afterwards.
Like how they did with some of
that's what the colorized versions are. You fucking retard.
Well, that's what I was saying. It like I don't know what you're talking about.
They did that a lot with like the 20s and 30s films. Like they have this.
You're like, it
version.
looks like
what
they
the fuck?
added color to it. It's like, no shit, dude. That's what colorized means.
And then lastly, I watched The Headless Ghost. I had like an hour before the hockey game last night. So this movie's literally an hour long. It feels like a fucking episode of a TV show. And it's kind of what it is. The Headless Ghost. It sounds like it should have been made in like 1932. It's very comedic. It's kind of silly.
Oh yeah, I threw that one on too, and I kind of tuned out a bit.
Yeah, it's honestly just too much fucking dialogue. Like, it's just not that good, man.
You guys gotta check out the Ghosts of Dragship Hollow. You'll get a kick out of that one.
Okay. But yeah, so I'm at 15.
But it's like goofy as hell.
I mean, I haven't really got to much of the actual heavy hitters yet, but just kind of peeping out some shit right now.
All the ones I've watched, other than like the 2 we watched for the show, is like, okay, I got an hour to kill, so I'm gonna watch these. The worst one I watched was like the Haunted Cave or something, and I watched it was directed by Monty Hellman, who made Two Lane Blacktop.
The Beast from Haunted Cave, I mentioned that.
Yeah. Oh,
I said there wasn't enough Beast, and I said there wasn't enough Haunted Cave.
I thought the movie was real bad. It was the worst one.
It's got honestly the new transfer that Film Masters put out is fucking crazy on that, man. It looks really good.
It felt like nothing happened that whole movie at the end. It was just so
it's got a cool concept, you know. It's like, these guys that rob this fucking.
Yeah, but I'm a big Monty Hellman fan, so I was kind of looking forwed to that.
Of course. I think it's one of his first. I mean, it was under Corman.
Yeah,
right?
it was clearly. Yeah. Well, if it's 59, it's like, I know, like, after that, he made, like, those Western movies with Jack Nicholson. He made Two Lane Blacktop.
Two Lane Blacktop is fucking phenomenal.
I love that movie. Cockfighter's good. He's a good director. I like him.
But, I mean, it's early shit, right? It's like watching The Terror.
Yeah.
It's like, so... But yeah, no, 59 shaping up. I'm really excited to record the show and talk about all these movies like in depth and shit like that. It's gonna be pretty fun. But it's kind of just an underrated year. There's some real good films from that year that really no one ever talks about. But yeah, like I said, make sure to check out The Black Pit of Dr. M though. Got to do it.
Yeah,
well,
it's good shit. So, you guys have anything else? Should we move on?
Yeah.
All right. So that's going to conclude the intro, dudes. And we'll be back here with some Valentine's Day films, I guess. Yeah. And now our feature presentation. All right, so getting into the featured reviews here on episode 284. We're gonna do some Valentine's love shit. But we'll start with the one that came out first this year. Of course, these are both 2025 films. And we're going to take it back to January 31st of this year. Is this one this came out? I don't know. Doesn't really matter. But 2025's Companion, directed by Drew Hancock. It's Drew Hancock. It's pretty awesome. All right, quick little synopsis here. A weekend getaway with friends at a remote cabin turns into chaos after it is revealed that one of the guests is not what they seem. All right, JP, let's start with you on Companion, because I heard through the grapevine.
Right, so first
you like this movie? You like this movie?
So two things. First of all, I assume there will be probably minor spoilers with this, but I assume we don't want to go full blown spoilers, right? Since
I don't know. This is it's such a hard thing to talk about, though. Like, without, we talked AI for like an hour.
Yeah, I don't think that counts as a spoiler.
Right, that's what I was saying. Like, I think that's like the minor spoiler thing that I was going to bring up, but I don't think we're going to go full blown, like, reveal everything that happens in the movie because they're like brand new movies. Like, I prefer not to do that.
Yeah, no, we won't give away the ending.
Like, the thing is with the whole, like, because I saw people complaining, like, oh, like the twist was so obvious, and I'm like, I didn't really think this was supposed to be a twist.
There's certain synopsises that actually tell you the twist in the synopsis. Like, it tells you that it's an AI thing.
I felt like the way it presented itself was kind of like it was supposed to be reveal or surprise, but I also felt like it was so obvious that I kind of I don't watch any, like I said, I don't watch any trailers, so I gave the benefit of the doubt, and I said, I wonder if this was just straight up in the trailer and we already knew this coming in.
Well, yeah, if you watch any of the trailers, it's clear as day that it's
then it's probably really
the movie's called fucking Companion, dude.
Yeah, and if you look at the artwork on the cover, look at the eyes.
Yeah,
like, it's not human, it's not real.
Yeah, I just hadn't watched any of the ads or the trailers, so I didn't know going in, but it did feel incredibly obvious to me.
Well, I just looked at I looked at the poster and I was like, okay, look at the eyes.
I just thought to myself, I don't know if this was supposed to be a surprise.
Yeah, that's how I felt, because I saw people complain about that, and I was like, honestly, I don't think that's a valid complaint, because
I checked afterwards, and it is in the trailer. It just straight up shows you in the trailer, and it's all over the ad press, so I don't think it was supposed to be.
How long into the movie before they actually reveal fully that she is?
Like 20 minutes.
Yeah, so really, is that? If it's like the main reveal in the third act or whatever, I would assume that would probably not be a good thing. But if you're going to reveal that type of plot twist or whatever in the first 20 minutes, it's just what it is. I don't think it matters that we talk about it. So, okay. So JP, Companion.
I liked it a good bit. I thought it was pretty fun. I think right away, some of the stuff that I liked was just that it didn't feel like it took itself overly serious, which brings me back to what I was saying about there's two ways to do AI. You could do it Terminator style, where it's really serious, and not a lot of films are capable of doing that. Or you could do it just fun and a vehicle for a horror film. And I feel like that's what this was. And I actually really like the lead AI girl. I don't know what her name is, the actress, but I thought she did a really good job. The dude is so unlikable and douchey that you want to see something bad happen to him the whole movie, which I thought was satisfying.
Yeah, she's played by Sophie Thatcher. So,
I can't remember her name.
Yeah, she's from Heretic. We just watched her in that movie.
Yeah, that's where she was at. Yeah, she was pretty fun in that too.
She's actually in Maxine also. So,
oh man,
briefly, yeah, no, she's been fucking hitting it pretty fucking hard on the strides, man, right now.
Yeah, except for that big miss with Maxine, I guess, huh?
Okay. Anyways, But this actually makes sense. This actually makes sense. One of my biggest complaints, in which I mean, it does play into the narrative quite odd. Like, he's supposed to be kind of a douche or whatever. I don't know if he's supposed to be fully or if I just interpreted, but our lead character Josh is played by Jack Quaid, who is Dennis.
That
Quaid's
is
son.
not the lead character.
Well, our lead guy.
Yeah, lead
Right.
guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So is Josh, played by Jack Quaid, who is Dennis Quaid's son. I didn't even realize that until I looked at the
He was
credits
in
after.
Scream, right? Scream. He was
Five.
he was the boyfriend in Scream 5.
Right. And so it kind of makes sense because I've mentioned multiple times that I'm not a big Dennis Quaid fan, even though he was pretty fucking cool in what he did last year. And then in The Substance, like his fucking character's out. It's just
yeah.
But yeah, that whole shrimp eating scene is just nuts. But
Yeah,
anyway,
he was out to lunch literally.
like literally out to lunch. But like I've never been a big Dennis Quaid fan. I've always thought he was kind of douchey. Like it's kind of funny that I realized that his son, Jack Quaid, it's like he's like
also kind of douchey.
He is, dude. Like he just comes off. I don't like this dude, man. I don't know what it is. And like
You're
the
not
whole
well.
time-
That's good because you're not supposed to like him.
I know, but I realized that when I was watching, I'm like, I already don't really like this, this Josh Quaid guy. And I'm like, okay, well, he's kind of cast perfectly in this because the character is really shit.
He's like typecast exactly like to do this
Exactly
type of
who he
role now.
actually comes off as in real life too. Like there's something about Jack Quaid I just don't like. And then he's cast in this role where he's supposed to be a douchebag. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of perfect. He's really not likable, man.
I think at the end of the day, also, this is like a horror comedy.
Yeah. And, that was actually my biggest complaint with this movie. I was expecting it to be a little bit more. I think it would have worked better for myself if it was a little bit more straightforward because the comedy fell flat for me hardcore. Like there was some moments where I was like, okay, whatever.
I thought it was funny when they kept doing the flashback of like how they met, like because
with the
like you
dudes.
program that story into the AI basically, you know what I mean? It's
Right.
just like it's so stupid.
It's funny because it's actually one of the
Can you
biggest
hear the
complaints I
song
have with the
playing in your
movie.
head right now.
You didn't like it.
I didn't like the fact that they kept using the flashback or the scene where, they get together. And so they did it like 4 times in the film. I get it where they had to use it for later on. There was a part where they had to kind of redo that.
Yeah.
But they showed it a little bit too much. And I'm like, okay, we kind of
Well,
get
it's like
it.
a reoccurring joke.
Right. But
It
that's
just changes and gets more ridiculous each time.
I know. I wasn't feeling it personally. I didn't think the movie, like the comedy in the film was over the top ridiculous. Not like something else we're going to talk about in a minute, but like, I felt like it just fell flat for me at certain points. Like, honestly, the only character in the film I really enjoyed was the fat gay dude. I thought he was fun.
He was fun.
I thought he was really fun. And just his dialogue and the way he kind of spit his lines and the way he projected himself in the film, I thought he was actually really fun and very likable. He was like really, I was kind of rooting for that guy, but shit happens, I guess. But
Yeah, I liked pretty much everybody except for the freaking lead dude.
yeah, Josh sucks.
He is just like an unlikable dude. Like even before that he's a piece of crap, he still is unlikable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that there was some decent gore in there too.
You think? I thought the kills were pretty mid-level.
Like the cop kill, you didn't think that was good?
Yeah, the cop kill was okay. I think one of my favorite things about this entire movie was the total shout out to like the T-1000 when the other companion turns into the cop and it totally just reflected and just, it was T-1000, man. It was fucking Terminator 2. And I was like, oh, that's actually really, I even turned to the wife when we were watching the film. I said, oh, that's fucking cool. That's T-1000. And she's like,
Oh yeah, 'cause he's supposed to be like an old model too.
yeah. And I was like, oh, that's actually really clever of them to do that because there's a lot of people that might not have caught that. But I was like, oh, that's really fucking cool. Even the wife's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's funny. I didn't think about it.
I thought it was actually really cool. So my favorite part of the movie. But I mean, for the kills, I mean, they were all right for what they are. I felt like it felt like it was a little bit more PG-13 on the level of like even dialogue.
I don't know, bro. That cop kill was so violent though.
That one was definitely the standout kill for sure.
Like that would never be in a PG-13 movie.
Yeah, I guess maybe in the 80s.
I don't even know about then. Like that was pretty violent.
I mean, there's full blown titties in PG-13 movies in the 80s.
right.
Yeah.
So you never know. But I mean, for me, this movie, it has its moments. It really does. I like the whole concept of the companion, the AI, and I like the nuances that are in it. There's definitely some underlying commentary that's happening throughout the film.
Yeah.
I just felt like, I don't know, man. I liked this movie. I didn't love it. You know what I mean? Like it felt like it was a way above average.
Well, to be fair, I didn't love it either. Like I thought it was decent. I thought it was good. It's like I didn't love it.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I thought it was good. I think if you just like look at it as like a straightforward like thriller, it's probably at its best. I felt like a little like some of the commentary to me was like a little bit much, and it gets in its way a little bit. But,
yeah, I felt like that was kind of an issue too. I just felt like the overall script was kind of shitty. Like I get it. Like with the whole cat character, like what happens to her and stuff. I just felt like they blew a wheel there. They blew a wheel with her character, and like the way they
I thought
offer it.
that was kind of weird. And then like the way like they try to make you feel like sympathy for her. I thought it was a little weird, and like it kind of made me, and that was kind of one of the eye rolling parts to me. But I did think the way they utilized the technology was really cool.
Well, they were smart about the technology at times, like, you know, when, you know, he obviously doesn't make her smart, and then she kind of figures out things, and then like the whole scene where
the way they were playing with the sliders was
I thought the way like they like, oh, it's linked to like this like in an app, and like I thought like that use of it was and the way you could manipulate things was really clever. That was a good use of it.
I thought it was very clever of Iris in the scene to like change her voice or her dialect or whatever to German in that scene, because she can't lie, and we know that she can't lie. Yeah, so if she's speaking German, she can tell the truth, but he can't understand it. I thought that was actually really clever, and it was probably like one of the most clever things in the film.
Yeah, there's definitely some good stuff about it.
Yeah. This movie feels like it's a product of moments throughout the movie.
Yeah,
like I think the overall narrative is kind of silly, like in the way it like goes about, like, you know, what they do with, you know, the Russian and, you know, the mobster, quote unquote, you know, kind of thing. Like the whole thing just seems outrageous what the actual idea is here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the way it plays out after, it goes even more crazy. You're just like, what the fuck? It just seems so unbelievable. But I guess you have to kind of put yourself into the idea that we're also dealing with, you know, AI stuff. Like, is this real? No, but it could be. But I mean, so if you merge yourself into that reality of, okay, these AI characters are real, and then you put the whole narrative together and the way it progresses and stuff, I'm just like, oh my God, dude. I thought it was kind of messy at times, like the way they tell the story, but you know, that's me. I just really thought that the whole cat character was a total miss in the film. I thought that was kind of stupid what they ended up doing with her, but it kind of pissed me off, actually. It was like the first thing I said when I left the theater. I was like, what the fuck did they do to Cat? It's kind of stupid, but yeah. Anyways, JP, you go on.
I thought that the way they did, like sort of it was kind of like sad whenever basically like you find out, like the character finds out that they aren't real, you know. That was kind of interesting.
I'm indifferent on it because I'm still trying to process the fact that like they're not real. They already can't lie. Like they're already one. Like the AI technology is like A to B, right? Mm-hmm. But it almost kind of changes itself when you throw in emotions into it. When you throw these emotions into the product, it's like, is it believable that she could actually start to think, oh shit, I'm not who I thought I was? Mm-hmm. Like it's almost hard to process that ability, but is it the product of it growing, or is it just a product of bad writing?
I mean, I think they're suggesting that
writing.
I think they're suggesting that like it adapts and like starts to feel things. I think that's kind of what.
So if that's what it's trying to do, if it's able to adapt to the situations and obtain these feelings and, kind of figure out, real human emotions and stuff like that.
And it doesn't make sense because of a thing that happens to the other companion, but they also try to tie that in with that character.
Yeah, I know. I think
it comes down to like the classic Arnold thing. Like, I now know why you cry. You know what I mean? Like, it's the concept of AI.
The evolution. It's like the evolution, them learning as they go, right? They're learning from the human emotions and they're learning from their surroundings and they're absorbing that. And that's the byproduct of it, that they start to actually feel things and start to figure things out.
Well, they observe other people feeling. They observe and they learn to watch other people feel things, and they have like their backstory, their program to feel a certain way. And then when you take away like that identity of it, that believes like it doesn't know how to process it. I guess that's what you could lead into. But I didn't really have an issue with any of that stuff, honestly. I thought that was all right.
Yeah,
I just think it was kind of like. The acting was pretty good in that scene.
Overall, I think the acting was pretty good in this movie, and it was like, well, it was well shot movies. It was well made. There just wasn't like really. I didn't think the writing was bad. Like I just said, like kind of like a little of messaging I felt was a little ham-fisted and over the top at certain parts. That
it's not Black Christmas of a couple years ago.
It's nothing
it's not
like
that bullshit.
It's not that, but it's like a couple times. It's like, oh, all right, and then
that seems to be a big hang up for you that you hate. I've noticed
it is.
What's that, like ham-fisted commentary?
Like when the commentary kind of wears itself on its sleeve. He doesn't.
I think it's just a product of bad writing. Like if you have to like ham-fist it and put it down the viewer's throat.
I just feel like you get to
movie, it's just ridiculous.
Where you're trying to like make an audience like you're at a point when it's too heavy. It just feels like you're trying to like make the audience think something, and
like it's too preachy or something.
I don't even want to use the word preachy. I don't think this movie's preachy. I don't think that's true. I think there's movies that can get preachy. I don't think this movie's it. But I think when you're trying to like just suggest like a viewpoint on the audience about something, I think that gets to where I start to not like movies. I like it when movies just present information to you. The audience is there to like take away what they want from it, and sometimes it works. But I felt like in this movie, it would have just been better off as maximizing like on the AI stuff that it did, maybe, and just keeping it like a tight thriller. I thought it was at its best when it was doing that, and when like you had the chasing going on and the evasion going on, and when it slowed down from that, I think it was just not as good of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I just I'm very disturbed by the fact that like just you put this into perspective, and it's like if we all just went to quote unquote a companion, that's the end of humanity. Right there.
Yeah.
It's kind of a fucked up thought though, right? Like, I mean, and that was the other thing about this movie that was actually kind of bothering me is like, I see like Josh, like Jack Quaid, like he's obviously an attractive dude. Why in the fuck? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't honestly, I don't really know.
Like this character anyway.
He plays I meant
look wise. I'm just saying.
I mean look wise too. Like I
will say every movie
superficially
someone's boyfriend. So I would assume like you got to be good looking to play the boyfriend in every movie.
I don't. He just seems like to me that someone wouldn't really have a problem getting like a real woman kind of thing.
It's because of his personality, though.
Well, that's a problem I kind of had with it at first. I talked to Tony about it a little, and Tony said that he thinks it was a plan from the start, and I like kind of disagreed with that.
What was a plan from the start?
Like the whole robbery thing, so getting the AI character was part of the plan to do the heist thing.
That's what Tony was thinking, because I had the same complaint with you. It was like, okay, well, you
know what? I actually thought of it's funny that you bring that up. I actually thought of this after when I was thinking about the film, and I wasn't actually sure if it was just this Josh character that was just kind of a piece of shit and fails in life with real women, that he's like, oh, I need this companion.
Yeah.
And then the plan came after with Kat to do the fucking,
that's how I
what they
took
did.
it at first, but I guess that's how he perceived it. So maybe that's how
It's
maybe
actually-
that is how it was supposed to be.
If it actually is part of the plan to get the AI and incorporate, now when I think about it, it works a lot better.
It works a lot better, exactly. Because I had the same complaint where I was like, you're not going to tell me this guy that plays like the betraying boyfriend every single movie he's cast in and can't like get away.
But it actually doesn't make sense in the narrative because they had another companion.
Are you guys really telling me you've never met like an attractive dude who has zero skill with women and just literally is just too weird to ever get like a successful?
Not like someone.
I'm not trying to be that dude. I don't really. I honestly look at dudes and I'm like, I've. You can even ask Erin next time he's here. I've looked at her and said, "Is that dude attractive?" And she's like, "Yes or no." Like I can't tell, dude. I don't know.
I'm basing.
I don't know. I'm bad with like that shit, dude. I don't know. Like
I'm kind of just basing the Josh thing, or that was his name, Josh, right?
I have no clue.
I don't know why I said that, but anyways, I'm just basing his character, I guess, off solely the fact.
But going back to the fact that like if getting the companion was part of the initial plan to pull off this master plan, with the robbery and shit like that, it actually makes the movie a lot fucking better. It doesn't, it still knocks it down. I mean, I still think some of the comedy and shit is really kind of dumb and stuff like, and even some of the dialogue in the film, I wasn't loving some of the interaction. I think some of the stuff that between Iris and Josh was actually really good, but like overall, the conglomerate of dialogue in the film, I didn't think was overly the greatest.
I kind of agree with you on that stuff too, but I've come to the conclusion on that I think these are the dialogue, it's just like the comedy like that. I think it's just Gen Z humor. I don't like it. And
is it a product of us just not getting it?
I think it is. I just maybe not that we don't get it. It's just
like I've told you a million times, you guys are old.
Yeah, like maybe that's just not for us. And yeah, I'm still
no, I think it's just not funny to me.
I'm still gonna like a movie less because of it, but that's not necessarily. It might not necessarily be the movie's fault, but it is what it is.
Right. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on the whole third act? Like the way the whole thing plays out? Did you like it?
I kind of did. I didn't really have any issue with it. I didn't love it. It wasn't like that was amazing.
I didn't really like the opening line where it was like basically told you what was going to happen. I know you're not a big fan of that either, Moodz.
Yeah, no, I'm not. And that shit always bugs me. I don't know, man. I mean, I like where it ultimately ends up going because, like we said, Josh is a piece of shit anyways. But like the whole construction of it, I thought was like, I don't know, man. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on the whole her burning, basically? Like that whole shit. It's so fucking mean spirited. It's like ridiculously mean spirited that like, I mean, I guess that's kind of the point though. Like it's kind of a build up.
It was a good scene. I thought that it, like, I don't know. I liked it. Yeah.
I kind of like that scene too, because it was super mean spirited. Like to the point where like, that she can't move. It's just so diabolical too. Right. It's crazy. So, I mean, ultimately it was satisfying where it ends up going, just, based on characters and stuff like that. I just think the whole script was a little bit messy. Like it really was. Like I think it sucks that they wasted the cat character the way they did.
I don't know why you're like fixated on this throwaway character that didn't really matter.
Well, I do. I liked her in the fact that, like, she's
because she was like hot or something.
Like she's exotic looking.
Yeah, I mean, she's actually Dave Z really likes her too, but I just think that it was.
Oh yeah, Dave was talking
because she's kind of like she's part of the master plan because she is the girlfriend of or the friend of our fucking our so-called Russian our so-called Russian fucking mafia guy, which is kind of a funny thing in the film, but
that was pretty funny.
Just like the reveal on that, I was like, what the fuck? I literally turned to everyone, what the fuck? This is so silly. I thought that was super silly.
One thing that I liked about the movie is like this guy's plan is so shitty, it's never gonna work.
You know what I didn't understand?
Doesn't realize that it's never gonna work.
You know what? the thing that fucking pissed me off. Okay, going back to the whole writing thing. When he has this master plan to like, dispose of his companion and the way he goes about it and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I literally turned to Aaron before all the shit went down and I said, but she's a computer and we all know what computers have. They have a memory bank. And no matter what you do to a computer, you can delete all your shit off your computer, blah, blah, blah. Someone can go in there and find that information.
I was thinking that
and so when it's playing out, I'm going, this doesn't fucking matter because if this is what he thinks is going to dispose or fix his fucking problems or whatever, it's a goddamn computer. And then they go and explain it away that like it's not in the head, it's in the stomach, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But I'm like thinking to myself going, this guy's a fucking idiot because
I think that's the point because you eventually realize like, oh, he was fucked this entire time. Like he was never going to.
Yeah, right when he was talking about the plant thing, I was thinking.
You're right though. Like he's written as a dumbass. He's written as a dumbass.
Yeah, I think that like they intentionally point out like how he was never gonna actually be able to pull this off. No, it's just when you're involving that much technology and that much stuff that can just expose you in a second, like it's just not gonna work out, man. It really isn't.
Yeah. So there's no way this thing is recording everything it sees and uploading it to some cloud.
Right,
like instantly,
especially because the amount of lawsuits this company
have. And like you have the little like commentary you get like from not commentary but like in the little conversation you get from like the two tech workers that come to like service it.
Yeah, like even the guy was like, this guy's fucked, dude.
Yeah, like so they're aware that the company's aware that people do these things. So they're
Yeah,
the thing
they probably have a whole fraud department.
There was one part about that scene that actually kind of bugged me after the fact. After the movie was done, I started thinking about it, and it was like the one tech guy that came there, and like he mentions to the other tech guy after, he's like, man, he's like, I recognize that person, right? Being an older model, I'm like, dude. So if this is your company and you're the only ones that are doing this technology, and these are products of your company. It's only been around for a couple of years. He's talking
a few years, yeah.
Yeah, he's talking like this person was like from 1971. I'm like, oh man, it was like one of our fucking models from like 40 years ago. I'm like, it's like 4 years ago, max, right? Like,
yeah, but if you watch the scene where she runs into another AI thing, it does look like, I'm sure it doesn't look exactly like that same. Like it's just the face that's the same. So I could see you being like, oh yeah, it wouldn't be super fresh in your memory.
I just kind of took it as like these guys were the techs. They should know all the, basically the products that they're putting out there because there can't be like tens of millions of them, right? Like, I mean, like I said, like it's a pretty extremely complex thing.
Yeah, but
that we're dealing with.
That the facial structure is the same on them, but like the hair, maybe the height, the weight, that probably can change. So it might not be instantly recognizable.
I mean, you can explain it away like that, but it just seemed to me like if you've only been doing this for a couple of years, you think you would probably kind of be able to.
He remembered it.
But he wasn't sure though. That was the thing. And that's what I question. I'm like, what do you mean you're not sure? I mean, if that's one of your products, man, you should fucking know that.
I don't know, dude.
I just feel like actually, I'm pretty sure the wife agreed with me on that. She's like, yeah, you're right. Because if you've only been doing this for a couple of years and you only have so many products out there, you think that.
Yeah, but we don't know how many.
I know. And I thought about that too.
What if they had 100 different models?
Right.
You got like, an Asian one. You got a fucking. A chubby one. There could be 100 different models.
Right. I just feel. I don't know. It's just such a new thing. You think you just remember. I don't know. It's just the way I perceived it. And it kind of made sense to me at the time. But anyways.
Well, how do we even know how new it is? They don't ever specifically say.
Well, they don't. But I mean, again, when you're dealing with this type of technology, I'm assuming that it's probably not that old, right? They had an old model, which is probably when they talk about old models, I'm assuming they have.
Well, this technology clearly doesn't exist right now, so it has to be set in like a future world or something, or like
But again, the way we perceive the film, it's set in modern times. Like it's current day.
I think it's supposed to be like slightly into the future.
You would assume so because the technology is so outrageous. But I mean, from what we perceive from a viewer's perspective, it's like it's modern times. It doesn't give us any other notion that it's not set in 2025. Right?
Other than the fact that all of the technology in the movie isn't something that we have regularly.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a common theme in films forever. There's always technology in films that never exist. Like you watch like 90s internet movies. They didn't have that technology at the time, man. And it was set in modern times.
I took it as it's like set in the not too distant future, basically.
Okay. I mean, fair enough, but it still doesn't negate the kind of messy writing at times. This movie has a lot of good things going for it, in my opinion. I was kind of indifferent on it. I mean, I really wanted to love this movie. I love the whole idea of the companion, and it's kind of freaky to me. But I couldn't. It was weird because I can generally separate myself when I'm watching films. And I kept thinking to myself, going, Black Eyed Susan was so much better than this.
Yeah.
It was weird. I just like the concept of Black Eyed Susan a lot better when it came to the AI companion type fuck doll thing, if you want to get explicit about it, but that's really what they are. So
yeah, Black Eyed Susan was a lot more like dialogue-y, like concept wise, where this one was more like fun and like over the top a little bit.
Yeah, it's like
Black Eyed Susan took the idea like in a serious way. I feel like this movie didn't really do that, unless I'm
no, it doesn't. This one's definitely a little bit more comedic, but it's like a heist movie disguised as like a horror film. It's weird. It's totally just a straight up heist film. That's the whole point of the movie. And so I started thinking about it after, and I'm like, man, I like the serious tone of, the whole idea of a fuck doll in a serious manner. I think it just works better for some odd reason because I don't know. It's just the way I thought of it, but I don't know.
I mean, I like Black Eyed Susan more too, but it's not probably as big of a gap as you are with it.
Yeah, I mean, I like this. This movie's fine for what it is. I mean, it's not something I'm going to be like, oh man, I can't wait for Companion to come out on Blu-ray so I can pick it up and watch it again. It's not that movie, man.
It's actually not that movie for me either.
No. Like I felt like it was disappointing, but like I didn't hate this movie. It's like I said, I feel very indifferent. There's things about it I liked, and there's things I really didn't like about it. But it is what it is. One thing I really do like is Sophie Thatcher in it. She was really good. I thought she was really good in the film. So definitely the standout point of the whole film, like the whole grape scene, I thought was pretty crazy. But I was disappointed in that scene too, because I wanted like to see it a little bit more. Not the great part. No, the actual death scene, like the kill scene. Like we kind of get the aftermath of it, of her just, covered in blood and stuff like that. We didn't really get.
Yeah, but don't they show it later on, like when she has like a flashback?
Yeah,
she goes back to the house and
they kind of do, but like they still phase away from it. It's not like.
Yeah, I think they do that for like shocking effect when she just walks in all bloody.
Yeah.
Like it's like, holy shit, what happened?
Yep, I agree.
Oh, of course, that's what they did. 100%. But like I said, I wanted to see that though, because at the time you don't know that this dude is not what he is. Like he's coming off as a fucking total dirtbag. So you kind of want to see that, but you don't really get to see it. But
yeah, I mean, technically that guy was not a rapist, right? I think.
He wasn't, and he wasn't even the fucking, the big mobster that he was perceived to be. But there's actually a really clever scene in the film where I can't remember if it's Iris that's talking to him or if it's someone. I can't remember who's talking to our Russian guy, and he says something about like, you don't really want to know about me. Like I have my hands in I get my hands dirty or something, or my feet dirty or something like that. But it's kind of a joke because that's actually what he does. He wasn't talking about getting crime element of it. It was actually literally getting his hands.
But again, throughout the whole movie, it just points to how dumb this guy is, right? Like the lead guy. Right. Like that's another one of those situations where he's just like dumb and doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely plays on the factor of like, you know, that we can create an artificial intelligent human or thing or whatever, and you can adjust like the smart level of it and stuff like that. And then you got this human that's just fucking dumb as shit, right? But like, I like that contrast throughout the film where we see this throughout the film where they adjust, you know, the levels of smartness and stuff like that. It's kind of a cool contrast, really, because this guy's just forever stuck in his dumbass ways. Like, this guy's an idiot. So I kind of like that contrast. It's kind of fun. But so, Tyler, do you got anything else on it?
Nah, I think I pretty much covered. I'm pretty indifferent on it. I think it was good, but it's just not like great. I think it was a fine movie to see in the
Tony loved it, right? Like, Tony was like a big fan of it.
Like, I can see some people being like, this movie is on my top 10 list and it needs to be knocked off right now. Because I've been seeing a lot of love for this.
Yeah, I could see this one making like the bottom end of a top 10 list, but I would be disappointed if it did. Like, if it was on my list, that meant that the year wasn't that overly strong.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I was going to say. I'm like, if this movie was making even a thought in my mind of a top 10, I'd be like, holy shit, this is a weak fucking year.
There's no way this movie is making my top 10 list.
I mean, it's fine for what it is. I just think it's a decent watch, right? Decent watch. So,
I think it's my number 2 on the year, though. Kind of out of 5.
Well, I've only seen 2025 movies.
I've seen 5, I think.
This is my favorite movie of the year, actually. No, I don't know. But like, yeah. So, ratings? JP, you want to go?
Yeah, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
I gave it a 6.
I also gave it a 6.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to be Companion from 2025. 42 shots. All right. So moving on to the next 2025 film titled Heart Eyes. Yes, I got it right. I keep calling it Deadly Eyes. All right. So this movie actually is the same length as the last one. Weird. An hour 37. Very bizarre. Okay. All right. So synopsis. For the past several years, the Heart Eyes Killer has wreaked havoc on Valentine's Day by stalking and murdering romantic couples. This Valentine's Day, no couple is safe. Okay. Where do we start with Heart Eyes? You know what? I'll start. Oh my God. I got to take some breaths on this one. Okay. So I'm going to start with a couple things I liked about the movie.
Okay.
All right. So I did like the opening sequence, but then I soon realized that this movie was a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like right away, I was like, okay, man, this is kind of cool, man. We get a bunch of fucking decent kills in the beginning of the film. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. I liked the opening sequence, and I was like, okay, the comedy, I'm like, okay, fine. I actually thought going into this movie it was going to be a serious slasher film. Wow.
So I did too.
Was I ever fucking wrong?
Yeah.
This movie is essentially a rom-com disguised as a horror film. Like, it's straight up a rom-com. I was so disappointed in that fact, dude. All I wanted was just a fucking slasher film, because I honestly really like the look and the gimmick of the killer of Heart Eyes. Mm-hmm. I love the light up heart eyes mask and stuff. Like, I thought it was really cool. I like the look. I thought this movie actually had some pretty decent kills. Like I said, the opening sequence kind of was pretty fun. There's a really good decapitation scene in the film. There's a really good kill with a tire.
The kills were good. I thought the kills were good.
Yeah, like honestly. The kills. And honestly, what really surprised me about the film, considering it was a rom-com disguised as a horror film, the body count in this movie was really high. Like, yeah, I didn't count, but I swear there's like 20 on-screen kills at least in this movie.
There's a lot of kills, and most of them are like shown and pretty good.
Yeah, like
and also you get like a straight up like massacre at the drive-in, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, it just reminded me of something that was so unhinged, like Jason walking through the streets, just fucking just like dicing people down with a fucking machete. Like, it's like ridiculous.
Dude, it's like the cornfield scene in Freddy vs. Jason.
Right, exactly.
When they pulled up when they were watching fucking His Girl Friday at the drive-in, like, oh, that got me pumped.
So like I thought the opening scene was really fun, and then the credits start rolling and they're playing fucking Outcast Happy Valentine's Day. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'm like, that's not a single, that's just an album cut on an album. I'm like, that's kind of fun to do. I'm like, kind of makes sense and shit like that. And then we get introduced to our leads, and then the narrative starts, and I'm like, oh my God, this is awful.
Dude, that's
dude, I can't stand rom-coms, dude. Like, honestly, dude, the problem is with this movie, man, is that the comedy was not funny for me at all, and it was cliched comedy too. Like, there's scenes where, like, the killer's throwing around the fucking machete and it's going between her legs, and it pans on her pussy for like a second. It's supposed to be ah ha ha, and then there's the whole dildo scene, and there's all these fucking just.
You didn't laugh at the dildo scene, come on,
dude. I chuckled, but it's so cliche. We've seen this a million.
What do you mean cliche?
Dildo.
What's the other movie that does that?
Oh my God, dude, I don't fucking know. We've seen dildo scenes in films where a woman is like, oh shit, my dildo's on the fucking or on the nightstand. We've seen that shit before.
And it's always funny.
It honestly didn't really work for me. But the thing is, though, I liked our lead character, but I
liked her a lot. Like, I was surprised how much I liked her.
I love the fact that she is the most nihilistic, pessimistic character out there. And the contrast with the hopeless fucking romantic and stuff like that, it makes for a perfect contrast. But then it's in this realm of like rom-coms and really bad jokes and shit. And I'm just like, it's not working for me. If this was a serious slasher film and she was this character and we had this hopeless, that would have worked a lot better for me. But it's the way it plays out. It's just so goddamn stupid. And then, to be honest,
they had such good chemistry though. Like I barely ever care if people get together in movies. I was rooting for them to get together. I was like, I think these two are like perfect for each other. They're playing off each other really well. They're funny. The guy is from Scream as well.
Yeah.
And I like him a lot in Scream. He's probably my favorite out of all the new people. And I thought he was great in this movie. He has like tons of charisma. So does she, and I felt like they played off each other really well. And also, I will say that this is the most Scream movie that's not a Scream movie I've ever seen, I think.
Yeah, well, and that's actually a note that I have on this too. Like, it is very Scream with a little bit more dumb comedy, in my opinion. The writing is not the greatest in this movie either for that, but like the reveal.
I don't think Scream is a comedy. So it doesn't have that aspect, but just the story structure.
Yeah.
The reveal, like did the reveal not feel like a fucking Scream movie, dude? Like,
in the sense, like, who the fuck is this guy?
But it felt like a really, really bad reveal. I didn't like the fact.
The reveal was awful.
I thought it was so stupid, dude. And like, I literally looked at Aaron and I went, "What the? Are you fucking serious, man?" I had a feeling that's what it
was gonna be too. I was gonna be like, it's gonna be this completely inconspicuous character.
The first thing I said, I go, "That's the worst Scream reveal I've ever seen in my life." Not only is there two kind of like parts to the reveal, but like the main reveal, thinking back on, in the film where we have like this interrogation scenes and stuff like that, and like all the shit that's going on at the fucking police station, I'm like, it's even fucking more stupid. Like, it doesn't even make a lick of fucking sense why that shit's even happening at that point. It doesn't even make any fucking sense. So I'm like, okay, whatever.
I don't know what you mean.
What do you mean? I don't want to fucking ruin it. I don't want to say.
I know, but I'm just like, I don't
So
know.
why would they be brought in and interrogated and then to only have this reveal later on?
Why not?
But why? Like, what was the point of it?
Well, clearly they think, they want this guy to go down for it.
They're trying to fucking kill him the whole fucking time. It's so stupid, man. It's so dumb. I don't know. I just think it was really dumb. But I don't know. I thought the overall reveal of the film was like, first thing I thought, I was like, man, this is so Screamish, but it's not.
I didn't think it was like anything special, but like, I don't really need a insane, like twisty reveal where I'm like, holy shit, that was it. Like, I'm fine. Like, it's fine. Whatever.
I just think it was like, I mean, it kind of ruined the whole fucking drive-in scene for me, to be honest, after the reveal, I was like, what? Or, after, that whole shit, I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, really? Like right away, that there's something else coming after that scene, like whatever happens. I don't want to fucking ruin it, but for people who haven't seen it.
Because there's more movie left.
Exactly. And you're just like, okay, but then it's got to be something like that. You're like, oh, fuck, this is kind of dumb. I just really thought the comedy didn't work for me. It wasn't funny. I didn't laugh at all in this movie at all.
I laughed a bunch.
I find that really hard to believe, JP, because you don't laugh at anything and I laugh at everything. And how the fact that you laughed at something that I didn't laugh at is mind fucking blowing.
I probably laughed at some stuff. I just don't remember. But
dude, I thought it was.
I didn't think it was.
I thought every joke was just something I've seen before in a different context or different way or whatever. It was everything. Nothing seemed original when it came to the jokes. I was like, okay, but it was just so gushy and dude. I hate rom-coms, man. I really do. And like, I shouldn't say that I hate every rom-com out there. There is some that I enjoyed over time. This is not one of them, man. I just really was so disappointed in the fact that I love the killer's look. I love the weapon. The fact that he was like a Jason fucking like My Bloody Valentine killer combined. The kills were fucking pretty cool, man. I love the drive-in scene. I loved our lead. Like I said, I love the fact that she's so nihilistic. She's so fucking pessimistic. I love her because you don't see characters in movies like that are actually likable. And she doesn't fucking care. Like she has an outlook on love like I do. So I was like I was really kind of like, falling for that, with her. I respected it. And oh, dude, everything else, I was just like, no. Nope. Everything was just falling so hard for me in this, man. I was so disappointed with this movie, dude, because I thought it was going to be serious, man. Fuck. Pissed me off.
Yeah, see, I'm somebody that like I thought it was going to be serious too, but like I just don't care. Like whatever move, like I try not to make what I want it to be like that much of a factor. You know what I mean?
Well, I still took it for what it is. I'm still watching it for what it is. I'm still watching it for what it is. And I took it once I realized it was a comedy after the first 4 minutes in the opening scene. I'm like, okay. But then I took it as, okay, this is not going to be a serious movie. But then, like I said, the jokes didn't hit for me at all. And like, there's stupid fucking scenes. Like they set up this stupid, ridiculous puke scene where she pukes on the on the killer. I thought that was so stupid because they hint at it like, oh, I'm afraid of blood, blah, 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 like makes me sick and blah. And then she ends up sick. And I'm like, dude, I didn't even smile. I was like, that's so stupid.
I think puke is
You're such a Grinch.
I'm not a Grinch, dude. I love to laugh. And you know me, man. I laugh at fucking everything. That shit was stupid. It was dumb. It's just the way it's set up because it's like coming. It's coming. I'm like,
but that's like
pukes on the killer.
That's like
pukes on the killer.
That's how you set up a funny joke.
Puke is hilarious, though. I think puke in movies is so funny. I think
it's also funny just because she did it in front of like this guy she has a crush on, so it's like even more embarrassing.
Just find that comedies sometimes are so poorly written that you just can't help but be like, okay, you know what really drove me fucking nuts, man, was the stupid the advertising boss.
So I liked her.
So this movie takes place in Seattle. And I get it, man. You got foreign people. They live all over the fucking place and stuff. But like, it just didn't make any sense that her accent was to the point where like, what is she saying? And like, she's like this head of this, this agency in fucking Washington, Seattle. And I'm like, it just didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, oh, it just drove me nuts.
Wait, what didn't make sense? Her accent?
Her accent, because it just didn't make any sense to me. Didn't make any fucking sense. So. I don't know.
What else? I think also I was just very happy to see, like, we don't really get slashers that much. Like mainstream release slashers these days, like in the theater. And I was like, dude, this feels like maybe we're gonna start getting some more slashers like this. Thanksgiving from a couple years ago was one that I had a lot of fun with, and I was like, man, this is like the first like big slasher film we've seen in such a long time besides Scream.
And it's kind of like a Scream clone too, but it does a little bit more serious and actually fucking works. Big ups to Eli Roth for making a fucking good modern slasher film that didn't involve ridiculously bad comedy in it. And
But when you think about the point of a Valentine's Day slasher, why not do like you've already have My Bloody Valentine, you already have Valentine, you already have My Bloody Valentine again, like doing something a little bit different. And
but it's crazy. But we've talked about this before. Like with My Bloody Valentine, it's crazy because like it does have a little bit of comedic moments in it also, but it also has an entire ensemble cast of like likable people with everything about My Bloody Valentine is like perfect.
Right, but you don't want to do that again.
I don't want comedy that's not going to work. Right, like it has to work.
Yeah,
I just don't understand this. I was just like, the fuck, what the fuck is this? The whole time I'm watching this, man, I'm like, no. Even the wife, she walked out and she's like, I like Companion a lot more than that one. I'm like, yeah, I
like this one a lot more than Companion.
That's just. I can't even understand you anymore. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Dude, slashers are my favorite subgenre.
Me too.
I love like post-Scream slashers. You don't. This feels like a post-Scream slasher. Like the same. I could see this film in 20 years being like such a go-to Valentine's Day regular watch along with My Bloody Valentine and Valentine. Which is finally getting its flowers a little bit over the years. Good old Valentine. This is a regular rotation holiday slasher film for me. Dude. And I think a lot of people are going to feel that way too.
The comedy's so cringe, man. Like the fucking cop at the police station when she's like, if you were any closer to me, you'd be inside me. I'm like, yeah, like I've never fucking heard that one before. It's not fucking funny. See, you guys even laugh. It's not fucking funny.
I'm trying to remember it. That's why I didn't laugh.
Yeah.
When you probably told it shitty. So
no, I didn't tell it shitty. It's exactly how she fucking says it. She's like, if you were any closer to me, you'd be inside me. Like it's,
I like the part where she's,
and that's actually word for word. That's literally word for word.
She's like, he likes this. He likes to wait in closets. Like
if you can't remember that and you like this movie that much, you're a fucking dumbass.
I also watched it like a whole ass week ago.
Dude, so did I, man. And how the fuck do I remember everything, man? It's like, oh, dude,
I have a shitty memory.
The sex scene in the van, dude. Come on, dude. It was all the buildup, and the kill was great. The end result of that whole scene was great, but like them just sitting in there and listening to like, I'm like,
that wasn't funny.
No,
that was funny.
It's fucking disgusting. When I watch porno on the internet, I have it on mute. I can't stand sex sounds.
You're such a weirdo,
dude. Sex sounds are not fucking cool, bro. Not cool. Not cool. It's disgusting to me. Honestly. Yeah. That's just the way it is, man. I don't like it. But that whole scene was it was so drawn out and ridiculous. I'm like, is this gonna fucking end?
That's why it was funny, because it kept going.
No. Okay, I'm glad that you find this shit funny, but like I don't get it.
I feel like I'm not in the minority.
I'm not trying to be in the majority or whatever. You want to?
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I think most people probably found it funny.
I don't see why. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I just don't get it, man. It's not that I don't get it. I completely get it. I just don't understand why people would think this was funny. Because like nothing was fucking funny to me.
Because it's awkward. It's like they're having this like serious conversation, and like they're just stuck in this van with these two people that are just like couldn't care that they're even there. They're just like these hippie people just fucking in the back, and it's just funny. Like
really, coming from a guy that never fucking laughs at anything, this is fucking funny. I'm so confused right now. I'm so confused.
I'm sorry it's not Dumb and Dumber fucking part 4 or whatever.
Dude, that shit was fucking funny, man. Come on. Whatever.
Like that's bad writing. That stupid joke at the beginning.
You haven't even seen the movie, so stop
I've seen judging that scene.
You saw that scene on a fucking trailer. Shut up.
That's the whole trailer of the first trailer that came out.
Okay, well, whatever, man.
Just that scene.
So that's 3 minutes of the movie. So the rest of the movie's pretty funny too. But anyways, yeah, I just think this movie was like a wasted opportunity, man. Great looking killer. I like the hybrid, man, of the miner and like Jason. I think that's actually pretty cool. The reveal is so goddamn fucking stupid and doesn't make any sense. I don't understand this yin and yang thing. And that was not a racist joke, by the way.
What?
I'm just
I
saying.
don't even know how that would be a racist joke.
Well, yin and yang, Chinese, whatever. Okay. I'm just saying, like the whole reveal itself, the second part of the reveal, I should say, I was like, what? Why? Like, explain it away to me, man. Does that make any sense to you?
I mean, it for the context of the movie, yeah. It's not like a serious movie. Do I think that the reveal was,
I guess,
like,
if you look at it like that, yeah.
Like it's so unrealistic that any of this would happen. Like, you know what I mean?
He's walking through a drive-in just slashing up people, like fucking 45 people get killed in one scene. It's like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is so over the top ridiculous.
I don't like love.
Super serious,
I don't
you know
like
what I mean?
love. I hate the fact that this was
I know, which is weird because you're like the most like love, like you're married and shit like that. Like,
no, I love my
you know
wife.
what I mean?
I don't like love though. It's weird. I have a weird relationship with love because I didn't grow up in a house that had any love. So I struggle with it every single fucking day. And this is real talk though. Like, I honestly do. I struggle with it. Like, I'm
probably the most like unlovey person that exists out of everybody. I think. I don't know. I'm not one to, like, I'm a very weird when it comes to stuff like that, man.
Yeah. Like, when you grow up with, like, you know, in a house where you literally think your name is Prick, it's pretty fucked up. It's pretty fucked up. I never was hugged. Never done any of that shit. So, like, I struggle with.
I'll give you a hug next time.
I knew that was such a cornball thing to say, but it's true though. But it's true. Like, I grew up in a house that there was no physical affection. There was no mental affection. Like, there was nothing. It was just dead. It was just fucking dead. So, like, when you grow up like that, you kind of, I mean, it's kind of the reason why I'm very nihilistic at times. And it's just a product of how I grew up, you know, kind of thing. I mean, I've evolved a lot from when, you know, even me and Aaron first got together. Like, I had a hard time expressing feelings, and I still struggle with it to this day.
I'm not good with shit like that either, bro. Like, yeah. I'm really bad at it. Ask Carly.
Yeah. And we make it work though. Like, I mean, she understands that I struggle with it, and she understands where I came from. So that's a good thing. Like, we have that connection, and, you know, it's good and stuff. But like, when I watch like good, like, I have a hard time with rom-coms. I really do. Anything to do with love. I just want my buddy Valentine every time, I guess. But I understand that's not realistic. And this is, you know, a new time and place for films and stuff. And, like, I respect Hard Eyes for what it is, but it just didn't work for me. You know, I'm not going to say it's a bad movie. It's a good movie for a lot of people, but it's just not something that I personally enjoyed. And it sucks because I thought the kills were great and they were really good.
I think it's, like I said about the last movie, I think it's got that Gen Z humor.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it does.
It's even like way more like amped up in this one, I think.
Yeah.
And that's sort of like the way slashers are nowadays. Like, you look at stuff like Fear Street. I feel like it has the same tone.
Yeah,
but Fear Street never came off as like super goofy to me. It just felt like it still had like a serious tone to it, even though it had the comedic elements in it. But like, it wasn't trying to be, you know, that over the top. You know what I mean? It was still on a level, right? There was still enough seriousness in it that, I don't know, I could fuck with.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty like over the toppy, like Gen Z humor type shit. I don't know. I liked them, but I don't think they're like traditionally a slasher like we're used to.
I thought it was like a cool thing to watch once.
I mean, this has elements.
I'm excited for Prom Queen, which comes out this year.
Yeah, me too. I mean, this has elements of like everything we've seen before, and that was kind of one of those things. I was just feeling like I was watching a byproduct of like everything that we've seen before. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, you know, everything has to be, you know, reinventing the wheel and shit like that. But it just felt like it was a very, very comedic version of like Scream. You know what I mean? And I was struggling with that a little bit. I guess what I thought it was a serious movie going into it. Mm-hmm. But like I said,
I didn't expect it to be as like silly as it, like when I did not expect that at all.
And this is coming from the fucking person that loves Astron 6. Like, Astron 6 makes nothing that I could ever not like. You know, it's goofy, it's over the top and shit, but that's the point of those. it's a different, it's like when you're taking a subgenre like slasher films and you're doing stuff like this, it's not what it originally was. You know what I mean? Right. It was never meant to be like a goofy over the top thing. And, you know, I'm not saying I hate all these type of like, you know, slasher comedies and stuff like that. It's just, I think it's because it has the more romantic element to it and stuff, but it's not for me. It's not for me at all. Tyler, did you like this one?
No. I kind of like it was the same thing, kind of with you. I don't think I was as hard on it though. Yeah, it's just, like a lot of the humor just like didn't really work for me. I didn't really like either of the characters as much as you guys did either, to be honest. But I thought the kills were really good, which is probably the most important part about it. I thought the reveal was really weak. I kind of exactly thought that's who it was gonna be. But by the time we got it just felt like they just like spanned the wheel and said, "Okay, we'll just go with a random guy."
Yeah.
I didn't really feel like it. It just felt not that well written to me in a lot of aspects. But
I think also too, though, man, it is really hard to have a killer reveal actually be great these days. Like, because I think that it's just we've seen every type at this point.
There was also an element to like their whole like master like thesis or like their reveal that was just like, really, like that's what you went with. It's just like it felt like they had done it to me.
If they had simplified it and not had like, you know, the dual reveals, and there's a moment in the film where you get introduced to a character at the police station that comes, you know, into play later on. If that solely was the reveal, that would have been fine. Really? I would have been totally fine with that. But the fact that like it went to one thing and then obviously you know when
I also like kind of got annoyed that like these like whoever like the killer just kills every single person like with the most ease except those two people. They just like cannot like kill them.
Yeah, that's like always this case with slasher films.
I think that's actually a joke in the film though. Right. I kind of took that as they're making fun of slasher films at that point.
Like it did, I think it might be.
I hope it's self-aware because then it makes it even worse if it's not self-aware.
I felt like it was kind of trying to be a throwback to old slashers, but at the same time, it's like there's really not any old slashers that actually feel like this.
No,
I think it was being a throwback to like Scream era slashers.
No, it is. It is. It's not. It's not the original slash. It's a throwback to Scream and you know the comedies of those times and stuff like that. And they're playing off that. They're not doing 1981 My Bloody Valentine. I mean, they have an idea there with the look of the killer. At times, kind of reminds you of that a little bit.
Like I didn't hate my time at the theater with it. I wasn't really bored. I was literally the only person there, so that was kind of weird.
There was.
I can't even like. What is the last slasher film? I guess Thanksgiving would be the last.
Yeah, I had a lot more fun with Thanksgiving.
Like theatrical. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like I don't know. I just love fucking slashers, and it's really easy to satisfy me with a slasher. Like if it's not
Thanksgiving was good, man. I really enjoyed it, man. Actually, I've been wanting to rewatch it actually lately.
I watched it again.
Yeah, it's good. I'm looking forward to the second one, which is there a release date for that?
I think later this year.
Is it later this year or is it 2026? I don't know.
I think it's next year.
Yeah, I think it is next year actually, but yeah.
What else? Yeah, I do really like the look of the killer. I think that I love the glowing eyes. Looks cool.
I've never had a problem with gimmicks like that. And I think the gimmick for the specific day being Valentine's Day works so good. I think it's actually kind of cool that you can like control the glow inside. I thought it was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I have much else.
Yeah, I got nothing else.
Yeah, it's fucking.
I will say that I heard that it had like a historically strong second week for a film. Like I guess it's a drop off wasn't very much the box office wise.
The overall box, like, what was this? What was the budget on this film? Like 10 million or something like that?
No, like I think it was like 20 some million.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I thought I read 10. I was like, there's no way this movie was worth 10.
I think it needed to make 45 million to break even,
which it didn't. It didn't make 45 million.
Well, it's not done yet.
Yeah, I mean, it as of right now, but I mean, obviously, we're a week and a half removed from. It's not going to pick up that much steam, especially after they hear this review. Everyone's going to hear this. Right.
I think that's what people were saying, that it had like a historically like strong second week. Normally the drop off is like a certain percentage, and this time it was like not.
Well,
like,
you know
I saw
why
an
though?
Article that was comparing it basically saying it's like one of the all-time strongest second weeks for a horror film.
But it's probably because the second week ran into actual Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. More people went and seen it this week.
Yeah.
I don't know about more, but so what did it do? Opening. I think it did opening. It did, let's see here. 8 million, and it's up to 22 million now.
Yeah. So more people saw it because of the actual Valentine's Day.
It actually had like a really strong second week.
Well, Valentine's Day was actually on Friday too, right? So which makes a lot of fucking sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Valentine's Day was on Thursday. I bet you wouldn't have had that big influx of revenue. But it falling on Friday, fuck, what are people doing? Dinner and a movie, man.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I think they tried to avoid Captain America that was coming out on Valentine's Day, so they released it a week early.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, those fucking.
I heard that Captain America movies, like everyone's expecting it to be terrible.
Is there any good Marvel movies?
I don't know. I guess
there's some fun ones.
I heard
the Spider-Man ones.
One of my friends that I know through cars, that's like a normie in terms of movies, has seen every single Marvel movie on opening theaters. Has seen every Marvel in theaters opening night, and he said, and people were like bragging, like, "There's no way you guys are going. There's no way you're going to see this movie opening night." And he's like, "Bro, I'm pop committed. Can't fold now."
Yeah, I did a run through of like the whole franchise back when I think the last Spider-Man movie came out, the one with like all three Spider-Man people,
yeah, which
I loved. And I started running through all the Marvel movies from the beginning, and I made it pretty damn far, but god damn do those movies get repetitive.
Yeah, I like the Guardian of the Galaxy movies. Those ones are good, I think.
I think when I did my like full run through of the series, that was amongst my favorites, was the Guardian movies.
Those movies are good, I think.
One of the Thors was really good. And like the Avengers are just kind of fun because there's so many people in them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not a big Marvel guy. Like, I love Spider-Man and Batman for comics. But
I like the new Batman, the one with Robert Pattinson. That one was pretty good.
With the Riddler. That was like the best. It was so dark too. Like,
I actually just grabbed a copy of that, like last week. Finally,
that was straight up. The Riddler was straight up Jeremy, dude.
Oh, 100% Jeremy.
It was Paul Dano too, so he kind of looks like him.
That's what I mean. Like, he looked like Jeremy too.
It's fucking hilarious. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like superhero shit, man, I only fuck with really the DC animated movies. They're absolutely fucking phenomenal. They're so good. Like, I mean, they're majority of like, PG-13 rated R, but they're violent and they're awesome, dude. They're fucking
Another comic book movie that I kind of loved that came out a couple years ago was the new TMNT.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, it had Ice Cube in it and shit.
Yeah, it's so good, man. I was so shocked at how good that fucking movie was. And I was like, damn, because I'm a huge Turtles fan.
Yeah, I love the Turtles as well.
Really good, man. Really good. It was nice to see them come back to like doing some good shit, because
who's your favorite turtle?
Michelangelo.
Okay. Do you know mine?
I would assume probably who's the Raphael. Raphael.
Nope. I'm not Rambo Raph for life. That's for sure. Donatello has always been my favorite turtle.
Why?
He's the smart one.
Oh yeah. Michelangelo, man, he's the pizza dude, man. So
Yeah. Michelangelo's the goofy, like funny one. Raphael's the angry dickhead, and Leonardo's like the like gracious leader.
that's why I thought you'd be Raphael.
Yeah, fuck you. Donatello, I've always just like fucked with. Like he's just the dopest. And yeah, I've always been a Donatello. I would go Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael, Leonardo. Leonardo's my least favorite.
Yeah.
Mikey's fun.
Yeah, Mikey's fucking awesome, man. It's good shit, man.
Tyler,
Good
who's
shit.
your favorite Ninja Turtle?
I don't really have a favorite.
You probably didn't even watch it. Have you ever seen the
I don't
original
know.
series?
I didn't. I watched it like not seriously when I was younger, but I did watch the original movie like on repeat when I was a kid. I had the VHS.
Oh, I
That
saw
movie is great.
I saw it in
because it's
cinema.
dark. It's dark like the original comics a little.
Yeah,
bit.
I watched that shit on repeat.
It got that gritty New York vibe too.
Dude, man, that shit was so wild, man. Like watching, like being such a fan of the animated series and then having like a live action movie, you're like, what the fuck? Like as a
It's
kid
kinda
watching
like
it in
a
the theater,
youth
it was
gang
so
movie
cool
too,
to
right?
see. You're like, this live action,
kinda
this is
like-
crazy.
It's kind of like a youth gang movie too, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dope. And,
I remember these cool scenes of like these like youth gang kids like playing.
Yeah, they just had like
Video
they had
game-
like a whole skate park in their hangout and
Yeah,
shit.
like,
This is
hanging out
when
in
you
the
could make
arcade and
kids
shit.
movies fucking awesome. Like that
Yeah.
was marketed to kids, but it was still dark enough for adults, and it was.
well, that's
great.
why the second one was way more goofy because all the parents complained after they took their kids to the
Yeah.
TMNT that it was like too violent and too dark, so it got
Yeah.
really goofy.
Yeah,
and
they,
Yeah,
they,
that was
they
that
dumbed
movie-
it down, man. And then
That
the
movie
third
was
one,
definitely a childhood influence on me.
the third one's
third-
a period piece. I don't mind the third one.
I
think it
actually
gets overrated.
hate the third one, man. I hate that origin. I just don't like it, man. I think it's really poorly done. Oh,
It's like it's more martial artsy and just like I don't know. I think
It's
like if
boring.
you rewatch it now, you might appreciate it.
I watched it probably maybe 10 years ago again because I ran through. I watched all three like in a kind of a marathon or whatever, and I was like, oh my god, dude, it was I wasn't feeling it. But yeah, you're right though. Like the first film to the second film, what a step down in tone for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did rewatch My Bloody Valentine this week as well, man.
Man,
Fuck,
I was
dude.
going to watch it and I just kind of forgot to. Like it was weird, but
Yeah, I watched it and then I hopped on Tubi to see if because the remake was on there, I was gonna watch that too. And I saw there was a Tubi original last year called like My Bloody like Valentine or something like that.
what?
And I started watching it and it was like funny. It's like about like some girl who's like boyfriend it like does her wrong or something, and that's about as far as I got. But it's like funny that there's so many of these like Tubi originals that I just don't know about. Like I don't think I've ever watched any of them really.
Yeah,
But
I don't
it's
think
funny that they've started making their own like horror films and stuff.
I don't think I've ever watched a Tubi original before.
I know they did the
I
Terror
don't think
Train
I have
movies,
either.
those two Terror Trains.
Yeah. That's fucked. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else on Hard Eyes?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, Tyler, what do you give this one?
I'll go 5.5 on this one.
5.5?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, I think it's perfectly average.
How is that perfectly average? Wouldn't a 5 be perfectly average?
Yeah, I actually kind of like meant
Like
to say
system,
5,
like
but I was
mathematically?
I actually kind of meant to say
So
5.
just
I'm like,
slightly
already
above
committed.
average?
So I'm already committed.
Yeah. I'm going to give this one a 5 for the kills. Everything else.
That's the thing. The kills are really good, and
Yeah,
if
the kills are
like I think that should weight a little higher in a slasher movie.
Was it just me or was pretty much everything practical?
Pretty much everything looks practical, and they showed a lot
I
of the
think so.
kills. It really wasn't off-screen kills, and like some of them were pretty fucking good. And they were
That's why
pretty
your
violent.
rating is so silly.
Yeah, I
like-
feel
The
It's-
kills
it's on
alone
the-
is like a 6 worthy.
Nah, I mean, honestly, dude, like that and the look of the killer was really what was doing it for me. Everything else was just, oh my God, it was fucking killing me. It was fucking killing me, dude. Like, I can just see this montage in my mind right now of like her puking on the killer and the whole dildo scene and the fucking cop and like, if you're any closer to me, you be inside me. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Seriously. And like, oh, dude, and the boss, I couldn't fucking stand it was driving me nuts, dude. It's driving me nuts. I'm getting old and jaded.
I feel like she looked like the type that would be the boss of that type of thing.
The way she was like, where the fuck are you from? Like, what accent was that? Where was she from?
I think it's like Southern.
No, that was not.
It sounded like Texas or something.
Oh God, it was like I don't know. Yeah, maybe some small ass fucking village in like South Virginia or some shit. I don't know. It was weird. It didn't make any sense to me. But
what do you mean makes sense? I don't even know what you mean by that. That someone had an accent?
To be running a major fucking company.
Dude, you're telling me nobody with accents run major companies?
I don't know. I can't explain this. I don't fucking know. I'm just saying it didn't make how every single person in this film felt like they were actually from around that region, you know, Washington, which I love Seattle. I've been there.
Neither of the main characters, I think, were. No,
I know, but it's still, they kind of fit the profile of being in Seattle. Like, I mean, like I said, I've been there before 100 times. I love Seattle. And it just, character was just pure comedic and it was annoying. It's fucking annoying. But yeah, kills in the look of the killer, man. That's where it's at. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, actually, the score and the soundtrack in this movie, atrocious. It was horrible. Forgot to mention that.
I can't remember.
One thing that I said
I liked it.
right when I left it, I was like, oh my God, the music of this movie sucked. Besides the opening credits with Here and Now cast, which is kind of cool to hear. Like I said, it's just an album cut. And which I'm not even really the biggest fan of that song anyways, but it was still kind of cool to hear it. I'm not going to give it, but
I'm not even the biggest fan of Outkast, honestly.
Okay, give me your fucking rating. Seriously, shut up.
It's your turn.
I just did. I gave it 5.
Yeah, 5. Did you? Oh my God, you guys are so ridiculous.
No, it's fucking real.
An 8, dude. An 8.
It.
It's my favorite movie of the year. So.
Oh my God, how many 2025 movies have you actually watched?
Probably about 8.
I've seen 5, and this
already. Holy shit! I've only seen 2.
I've seen everything that came out in the theater. So I've seen Companion, Hard Eyes, the one Tyler likes that wasn't that as good as he pretends it is. Presence, what is it called?
Yeah, you could say the same thing about this movie.
No.
Oh,
I don't even know what you guys are talking about. What movie?
Presence. The Ghost POV movie.
Oh, fuck! I don't.
I thought it was really good. I liked it a lot.
It was decent. It was.
So what else? What else have you seen? Because 8 movies, that seems crazy to me.
I've seen 5.
The Damned.
Did you watch Dark Match?
The Damned. There's like 9,000 movies called The Damned.
I thought Dark Match was awful, honestly.
I wouldn't think that it was good based on what it is. So
it sounded really cool. It sounded really cool when we were previewing. I was excited, but I thought it was really bad.
Well, I am curious on people's thoughts on this movie because it does seem like it's kind of a mixed bag.
I actually don't know what people really think. I haven't really looked into it. I know it's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
I've seen overwhelmingly negative things.
It's obviously all the 14-year-old people that voted are like, it's the best movie ever.
Rotten Tomatoes is not 14-year-olds. That's actual critics, right? Isn't that how Rotten Tomatoes works?
I don't know.
Rotten Tomatoes.
So these actual critics are just a bunch of fucking idiots then.
Rotten Tomatoes.
I mean, most of them are fucking idiots from usually what I experience, but I'm just saying. Usually if a movie is fresh, I usually like it.
The thing about Rotten Tomatoes, though, it always is did you like it or did you not like it? Those are your only 2 options.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, so that's why you see a lot more movies that are just fresh than.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, you see way more movies that are fresh. Every time I look up a garbage movie on Rotten Tomatoes, it's fresh.
Bullshit. I feel like it's hard to get horror movies fresh.
On Rotten Tomatoes? No.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes is like the most like user-friendly like internet rating source.
No, you're so fucking wrong about this.
Go Look at the ratings for this and like any horror movie on like Letterboxd compared to this. I guarantee you Letterboxd is way harder on it.
I don't know, bro. Maybe nowadays, but Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, you're looking at the critic score. The critic scores don't matter because they're all just fucking paid for on Rotten Tomatoes.
What do you mean paid for? These are reviews taken from other websites.
No, it's critic ratings. Like I don't trust anything.
Yeah, but it's critics from all different sites.
I'm looking at.
It's not from Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm not.
Are we considered to be critics? Consider we just review movies and
no, because we don't have like a website. Maybe
I'm
like
totally. It was rhetorical, dude. You didn't have to answer
okay. The audience scores are something I'm more interested in. Like, it does have a 70%
So how Rotten Tomatoes works is a movie comes out and Rotten Tomatoes compiles reviews from all different websites like CBS Radio, fucking Times UK, fucking the Chicago Tribune, and it just compiles them all, positive or negative reviews. If there's more positive, then it's fresh. If there's more negative reviews, then it's rotten.
So let me get this straight. I have a lower rating on Hard Eyes than Tyler does. How is this possible?
Yeah, I think you guys are both smoking crack.
That might be true, but it doesn't affect that this movie sucked. So
I feel like your review didn't even showcase a 5 rating.
What do you mean?
I feel like you were more positive than negative. The only shit you really didn't care for was the twist and the relationship stuff.
Bro, that's because I'm Canadian. I only can say nice things. I'm gonna apologize right now. I'm sorry. Fuck. Anyways,
honestly, I was surprised that you both liked The People as much as you did. I thought JP was just gonna really like this movie because it kills.
No, honestly, dude, the way I can explain it away, I thought, like I said, the look of the killer was cool. I love the gimmick of it with the eyes. The kills were fine. Everything else in the movie just completely annoyed me. The comedy, the writing, the reveal, the music, everything was so bad to me that it just brought it right down. It really did. So there's more negatives than positives. Are you happy now? Are we good? Okay. Yeah, the music really fucking blows in this movie. Sucks.
I feel like I liked it, but I can't really remember.
I don't remember.
Felt like the songs matched what was going on.
Well, they played a lot of like really cornball kind of love shit in like a lot of the scenes. I'm just like, man.
Oh, dude, yeah, that makes sense.
It doesn't even feel like it's a horror film at times, man. It really didn't. A lot of the scenes where killings weren't happening didn't feel. You could have been just watching a fucking Lifetime rom-com bullshit.
If I saw this on Lifetime, I would like it more. I'd be like, holy shit, this is awesome.
You know what? I probably would too, because I like this is my Lifetime Christmas movies. Isn't it weird how we can watch that shit? But then
that's like the most fucking Jesus, dude.
It has got to be the most hypocritical thing I could ever say about myself. It's so weird. I can't understand.
Yeah, those ones are corny as hell.
I can't understand my thought process when it comes to that shit. Why I can watch those and then hate on this shit. I'm just being frank. I'm just being honest. Like, I have no idea. I think it's because those movies are not what I'm into generally. And I'm just like, it's Christmas and I'm always like kind of corny around Christmas anyways. I'm like, I just love the holidays. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. It's weird. It's hard to explain, but anyways.
I like old rom-coms. I don't really like new rom-coms.
Let me think. Rom-coms. Like what's like a really famous rom-com that people like?
The Apartment.
Sleepless in Seattle.
Haven't seen either.
Is that a rom-com? Is that supposed to be fun? Yeah, it's I think it's like popular. Honestly,
like the movie they were watching on the screen in Hard Eyes. I legitimately like that movie a lot.
Yeah. So what is that movie? I was actually going to bring that up.
His Girl Friday. Howard Hawks directed it.
Okay, Howard Hawks. That's what it is. Fuck. I've never seen that movie, but I was like, man.
When I think rom-com, I think like 50 First Dates for some reason. That's like the first one I think of.
It's a rom-com. Yep.
Also, what is it? You know which one I like?
Wow. Jesus.
the Friends with Benefits with Mila Kunis. I actually like that one a lot.
I kind of like that movie, but I think I was just the right age when it came out. Oh, hold on. I'm thinking of Just Friends. Never mind. I've never seen that movie.
If there's some rom-coms like set around Christmas and shit, I like some of those ones.
Oh, there's a 40s one that's really good. It's called The Shop Around the Corner. James Stewart's in it.
That makes sense. That's a sexy dude.
What else? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not a big rom-com guy either, honestly.
No.
I like sex comedies, if that's like...
Dude,
I mean, there's some
can
romance in American Pie, right?
Dude, like 1975 to like 1982, 83, man, had some of... Like, there's so many good sex comedies in that era, man. It's fucking unbelievable. There's so many of them.
The late 90s to like mid-2000s have like some...
Well, that was like a resurgent, actually. Like, when American Pie came out in the late 90s, that was like a resurgence of like sex comedies. It was weird. You know what's kind of fucked up? They don't make sex comedies anymore.
They can't. They can't make them.
Why?
Because you can't be that offensive anymore.
Yeah.
Dude, fucking putting your penis into a hot apple pie is offensive? Like, how is it offensive?
I think it's like the way that they treat women and like like there's literal like, I mean, Revenge of the Nerds is literally like kind of rape.
Dude, that movie is very rapey. You couldn't remake Revenge of the Nerds with that narrative because it is very rapey.
The woman who directed Don't Worry Darling basically like remade Superbad with two girls and made it more of like modern.
Was it two girls with one cup?
It would have been better if it was.
Oh, dude, that video, man, still makes me so hungry. It's crazy.
So I honestly think the best rom-coms are like, this might sound crazy, but like I think the best rom-coms are like 40s and 50s movies, and the reason is...
Yeah, you're crazy.
The reason for that is it was before you got to like these... They weren't gushy back then. They weren't like so much gushy movies, and they were still experimenting how to like make these movies. So a lot of the time they're just like farcical like hangout movies with like a guy or a girl, and they're just like goofy comedies, but they're not like so over the top goofy because that type of comedy hadn't really come out yet. So a lot of the time the writing and the dialogue is a lot better, and they're a lot funnier, I think, than a lot of the newer stuff.
I think old movies, if there's one thing that I always think they handle so poorly is relationship stuff. Like, it's always just like some dude meets some girl and next minute they're falling in love. Like, they're just like even King Kong, right? Like, the dude literally meets the girl and like 2 seconds later they're like in a relationship. It's so stupid.
So when I think of like the best from that era, I think of like Bringing a Baby, The Apartment, His Girl Friday, Holiday, Philadelphia Story, The Lady Eve, and none of them fall into that category.
The Apartment definitely doesn't.
I don't think that I'm talking about necessarily like rom-coms. I'm just talking about like how they used to handle romantic interests in general. Yeah. It was always so
that's
like
something
there was no
that,
development at all.
That's something that like
period.
really that's something because that also kind of turned me off about older movies at first. And then I kind of just like realized like maybe this is just like literally like what it was like.
Like, we don't even get movies like Superbad anymore.
No, you can't.
Like Road Trip, man. Like Euro Trip. I even like Euro Trip. Euro Trip was fucking fun.
Euro Trip's fun, fantastic.
It's so funny, dude. Like
fantastic.
You know what I fucking, man, like Van Wilder literally ruined Ryan Reynolds for me, man, because he's like Van Wilder.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, well, he plays Van Wilder in every single fucking movie he's ever been in after.
Is that the one with the fucking bulldog with the big ass balls?
The Eclairs?
Yeah. Like, you can't do that now.
Dude, that's my favorite part in the whole scene when he's eating this shit and it's like dripping down his chin. He goes, oh, and it's still warm and it's cum.
It's dog cum. Bulldog.
Dude, it's so fucking the way he's eating, it's literally dripping off his chin. I'm like, oh my god, it's so bad.
You absolutely could not put that in a movie.
No, man. Like, people get like, I don't understand why you'd be offended by that because it's just comedy. It's just ridiculous. Nobody ever does that. Like, that's
I want another American Pie movie.
Yeah,
Reunion.
Did you ever see throwback?
Did you ever see like the 19 fucking sequels that they did to those? Like
I've watched them
those are
all
really-
except for the newest like Netflix one that was featured like women or something.
Yeah, I didn't watch
shit,
that one
crazy,
either, but I'm like you. I watched all the other ones. They were like stuff that came into Blockbuster. I was always like, all right.
So apparently there is a
Pie.
new American Pie movie, like an actual American
I
Pie
think
movie
they
coming out.
are trying to get one off the ground. I
So
think you
it's
do.
gonna
I think it's time to do one more. You know,
Well,
we followed Jim through his whole life. Like,
So this will be the
it's-
fifth one, right? Because this will be like when they're like way adults and probably have kids and like.
yeah,
Yeah,
because I think
this is-
American Reunion came out in like 2010 or something.
Well, American
Something
Wedding
like
was
that,
the
yeah.
fourth one, right?
Yeah, that was like 2000.
American Wedding was the third one. Then American Reunion.
Oh yeah, Reunion was the fourth one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, American Wedding. Oh
And
my god,
Rebecca
dude.
Dornay is Finch's mom, and fucking Stifler bangs her at the end.
That is not Rebecca De Mornay.
At the end of American
Stifler's
Reunion?
wait, Stifler's mom or Finch's
No,
mom?
Finch's mom.
Finch's
mom is
Is it?
I thought you were talking
is it
about-
Demore? Yeah, Reunion's really fun, man. American Wedding is so fucking good.
It's
and
Jennifer
Stifler's the best.
Coolidge's
is Stifler's mom. Yeah.
mom.
How in the
Yeah,
fuck are we talking about American Pie
I
movies?
think this is what you do. This is the perfect American next one. You make it super self-aware in terms of like Stifler is like completely woke and like changed his ways completely.
No,
Yes.
you want Stifler unhinged,
Right,
man.
but
Like,
then he gets unhinged, right?
Okay.
Like eventually it just is like, we want the old Stifler back. You're fucking annoying. You know what I mean? Like and everybody thinks he's faking it the whole time, right? Like everybody thinks he's just like,
it's
he's
actually kind of funny.
he's just faking
Yeah.
it for like some girl or something like that. You know what I mean? But
Yo,
then
It's actually kind of funny. Actually, I like that idea. It's kind of funny.
because of how society has changed so much, like a character
Right.
like Stifler shouldn't be able to exist in modern time. So
Right.
he was like pressured into due to cancellation and stuff being like woke and like I think it would be really funny.
Dude, they make him like a Trump supporter in the movie, and then they get away with it.
what?
That's what they do. Like they let him like go off the handle and make him like all MAGA, and they'd be like, "See, he can do this now."
yeah,
That's
I
like
can
Dude,
see
get out
that.
of-
Stifler was just the best. Like he
That's like
like
get
his-
out of free jail card.
Stifler was so fucking funny, dude.
Dude, every time Stifler's on in a scene, man, it's just the best. It's the best.
Yeah,
So,
but yeah,
fucking
you really
good,
can't
man.
make
So
a
good.
character like Stifler that just says like heinous things the whole movie anymore.
And Sean William Scott, man, actually has the same birthday as me.
Like the closest you can get to like having a character that just says gross things the whole movie now is like Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, and she's the most annoying fucking. Oh, fuck her.
Like you can
She's
say
not
these
fucking
things as long
funny.
as
She
she's
is
there.
the most unfunny fucking woman I've ever met. I ever seen in my life, man. She's
Could
awful.
you even have like Alan from The Hangover anymore?
Right, I know, that's what I'm saying. It's just like it's so, I mean, it is a completely dead subgenre.
Well, it's
like,
because
completely.
everyone's offended by everything that's funny nowadays. So it's like, well, it's not everybody. It's one generation.
They're loud.
That's the problem.
They go on the internet and they say, "I don't like that."
I can't believe one generation defines how movies aren't coming out anymore.
Like
Or
I
being
want
made.
to,
It's
I
crazy.
want to like show like Gen Z people like the American Pie films and see what their reaction is. you
But
know?
even like,
I would
you know,
like
watching
love to just
Porky's,
make a
like show them
playlist.
Porky's. Like that shit is like, it's so ridiculous.
I would just like love to show him like a playlist of just movies you can never make today. You show him like Porky's, like even something like Ladybugs.
Dude, every single
Lady
fucking
Bugs.
sex comedy of the early 80s could never be made. There's not one movie from that era that could be made today. Just based on how
Oh my! Even I didn't see 16
explicit, too.
Candles. I think it was I think it was 16 Candles. I didn't even see that till like way later in life, and I was watching that like, whoa,
yeah.
you definitely.
and it's fucking John Hughes. It's fucking John Hughes, man. Like
I remember being
he's one of the most
like,
beloved
this is
writers,
like-
directors of all time.
like this is legitimately kind of not okay.
I love 16
But the 80s
Candles.
would just have that different, you know, that different fucking niche to it, you know, and the 90s too, I guess. But
Yeah. I mean, for me, the 90s is like where most of my favorites are from.
yeah,
But it's
that's,
also where I grew up.
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is kind of ironic a little bit that the Goonies is your favorite movie, which is 85, which is right in my
Right.
wheelhouse.
But I also saw Goonies when I was like 3. So
yeah.
Yeah. My favorite was 85 too. So
85 in cinema, just in general. We obviously know 85 in horror is just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But overall for cinema, if you look at the films from 85, that is one of the best fucking years I could ever see. Like, it's crazy. There's so many good movies in 85. It's nuts.
I just came. My movie was 86. I'm stupid.
You're stupid. I agree.
Yep. Something I should probably know.
Yeah, 85 was really good.
Oh, it's just like phenomenal. Yeah.
Back to the Future.
Yep. That's what I'm talking about, man. My favorite trilogy of all time.
Breakfast Club.
I don't like that movie.
What do you mean you don't like the Breakfast Club? What the
fuck are you talking about?
I don't like it. What's not
to like about the Breakfast Club? It has like some of the best dialogue. The whole movie is dialogue, and it's the most intriguing thing ever.
One time I was at a party, and I was like, "The Breakfast Club fucking sucks." And everyone got mad at me in the room.
Well, yeah,
because that was warranted, man. Like, that's not me saying Hard Eyes sucks. That's a totally different scenario, man.
Like Breakfast Club is legitimately like one of the greats.
Dude, it's one of those great examples of how when you write amazing characters and dialogue, you don't need anything else happening except for that, and it's just works so well. Like, John Hughes is a master. He was a master,
and it's just incredible. Like, the whole like concept of it is incredible too. It's like these kids who all are from like their different cliques and circles are forced to spend a Saturday afternoon in detention.
I mean, that's the commentary, right?
And realize that they have more things in common than they don't. Like,
exactly. That's the commentary. Because when you put people of different shades of life into it, you can have a common bond. And you can figure things out. It's a commentary on the world situations that were happening at the time, like the Cold War and all that shit in 85. Like, all that type of shit, man, plays into that. Like, it's honestly fucking brilliant. It's Animal Farm done way better.
This sounds this sounds like Teenage 12 Angry Men.
12 Angry Men is fucking fantastic too. Like the original one.
Yeah.
Excellent
movie.
That's
85.
That's
85's got Come and See, Out After Hours, Ran, Mishima.
After Hours, I watched a couple years back again. I love that movie, man. It's so good.
After Hours is awesome.
Yeah.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure, To Live and Die in LA, Police Story, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Like, it never ends, dude.
Live and Die in LA.
It's so good.
Purple.
Witness type Terrorizers.
First Blood Part 2, Weird Science.
Yeah, dude.
Black Cauldron.
Great kids movie.
This year is fucking insane. I'm like, wow.
Return to Oz.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's unbelievable in every genre.
Dragon. A Zed and Two Knots. Oh my god.
Pale Rider.
Talk.
Dude, it never ends, man. I'm telling you, 85 is one of those years that's hard to fuck with.
Vampire Hunter D.
Yep. Right.
Yeah,
wow.
It was a very good year.
Yeah. I mean, there's movies from 85 that are some of the best movies of all time.
Dude, at the end of the fucking Letterboxd page, you still got stuff like Mask.
Yeah, you still got like Mask, like Brewster's Millions.
Cher. Is that Cher in there?
Yeah, that's sure.
Yeah,
Cher,
that's a
Eric
great movie I
Stoltz,
haven't watched in a long time.
Laura Dern, Peter Bogdanovich. Guy that made Targets and Paper Heart.
Like, unbelievable.
Angel's Egg.
Death Wish 3.
Brazil.
Oh, Death Wish 3 is my favorite Death Wish movie.
Commando. Showa. Jesus Christ. Showa came out that year too.
That's my third favorite Arnie film, I think.
Crime Wave.
Invasion USA.
Yeah, this year is actually pretty insane.
It is. It really is. Yeah.
American Ninja.
Yeah, another good one.
Yeah, a lot of fun movies from that year. Anyway.
Yeah, anyways. Well, I guess that is Hard Eyes from 2025. No, I think we're well into the outro here. You guys have anything else? Oh, what's coming up? What are we doing next week?
I believe it's finally full moon time.
Full moon?
We did take a little audible to do this special 2025 show.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have full moon next week.
Yeah.
So the movies from the full moon show are going to be 1992 related, and that's The Seed People, Neverworld, and
Bad Channels.
Right. That's the three. That's fucking cool. And then what do we got
after that? Right?
The week after,
Western Horror Volume 2.
and that is going to be, what do we got up for that one? We got The Living Coffin,
Two-Fisted Tales, The Living Coffin, and
Dust Devil. So we got 292 films into 59. So there's a common theme that's happening here. A lot of
the reason
films.
this is tough for Dust Devil because like I don't know how the hell I'm gonna watch it. Like where, like I don't know if I have access to like whatever cut. Like you know what I mean?
Usually the right cuts on MB. I've noticed like it's almost always the director's or longest cut on MB.
Yeah, you want the director's cut of that. Yeah, you don't want to watch a short version of it because it's super fucking cut. Like cut in the point of like plot too. Like it's fucking stupid. It's so stupid.
In my experience, it's like always the longer cut on MB.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure that out. I mean, if you can't find one, JP, then we can always
there's more movies we
Curse of the Undead in there.
There's another one from 92, like Mad at the Moon. It's like a scary one.
I mean, there's always something we could do.
And then I think there might be another one in 59 as well.
Right. All right. Well, I think that's going to probably conclude episode 284, Valentine's Day special. I think that's what we're going to call it.
Yeah, probably.
So, yeah. But hope you guys enjoyed the show. Leave comments down below. What are your guys' thoughts on Heart Eyes? Leave them down below if you're still listening, because nobody is. But if you are, leave a comment. We're out of here, man. Deuces.
Deuce is.
That's all, folks.